Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
And just like that, it's over, everybody. Welcome back to the show. The most boring Super Bowl yet, John. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you're at. Welcome to you. Glad to see everybody. We had a Super Bowl last night. I got to be honest with you. It was fun being the Steeler Hawks fan for the night and watching Seattle beat the New England Patriots, guys, 29-13, giving New England their sixth loss in Super Bowl history, which isn't impressive to me. That makes you the biggest loser, in my opinion. And the Patriots did not only lose, they get dominated in the Super Bowl 60 in California against Seattle. It was great to see. It was fantastic. Again, as a Steeler fan, it was probably just as much fun as it was for a Seattle Seahawks fan to see the game go the way that it went. But I think that this game exposed a lot of things about the Steelers in a sense, guys. We'll get into so much more today as the show goes on. And again, there's a lot of connections we can make with how the Steelers play football, what they do, what they need to do to change, and things that we could have and should have learned last night by watching the Super Bowl. Again, it wasn't the greatest offensive output, but the defenses kind of give you an idea of what kind of defense wins championships anymore. And I think that we got a pretty good idea. And then we got to think back of what our defense looked like and kind of start to look at the things that are working and the things that aren't, as one team dominates their way through the season with their defenses. The other team said to have one of the most historic defenses ever going into the year. A lot of the speculation about our defense, and you've seen how that turned out again. Many examples. I'm not even going to give examples, but this is, again, a good thing to look at from last night's game, the Super Bowl 60, and how it turned out. And again, 29-13, the final count on that. I thought it was going to be closer. I thought Vegas's point spread was going to play a role. It did not. Again, the Seahawks win by a couple touchdowns, and it wasn't even close. New England didn't even score till the fourth quarter. They had about 50 yards at a half. They probably didn't belong there. And again, I don't think that if that's the best team that the AFC has to offer, we should be doing a lot better moving forward all things considered. So we're going to get into everything today, talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the big stories too, like, of course, Bad Bunny and other things, guys. So much to go over today. Welcome back to the show. Mike, how are you, brother?
I'm good, and my God, like I had like the same thoughts you did about this game and watching both offenses and both defenses. Like this was like a Pittsburgh Steeler game. Watching this Super Bowl, it was boring until it became exciting at the end.
I was telling Mike, I was telling him during the game, this is what a Steeler game looks like.
Yeah,
A lot of checkdowns, not much success on offense until late, obviously. And then, it's the way the Steelers win football games, and it's
yeah.
on defense. And so, you know,
Getting points when you can get the points.
yeah.
Yep. Like some of these coaches that are red hot coaches that people love would have gone for it on fourth down in the red zone. And Seattle's like, no, we're going to take the points because we know points are going to be at a premium. And that is Steeler football right there. We're just going to get the points and let our defense do its thing until the offense figures something out.
It looked like two teams that basically play our game that do it better and made it to the Super Bowl. So a lot of things, guys, we're going to get into today regarding the Super Bowl. I have a few big announcements, a few announcements to make to start off the show. First and foremost, guys, we are going to take our winter break next week. We take one in the winter and then one in the summer, and it allows us to kind of reset and reload heading in after the football season. It was a long season. We're ready for the next chapter. We have so much coming up here in the off season. So this is where we find the best opportunity to get a weekend to take off. Again, a lot of stuff to get taken care of here as the show does move forward, and we're going to be growing and expanding. So we're going to be very busy next week with the show, but we're going to take this week off, and then that will be the winter break. We'll be back the following Monday and get ready to head into everything that's coming into this offseason. We have the combine at the end of February, into March. We have free agency in March. We have the draft in April. So much stuff to get into. So again, this be when we find the most opportunistic time to take this little break, and we're going to do such. Again, that will be next week. We will be wrapping up, Mike, on the episode 9/11. Believe it or not, it'll be 9/11 when we shut down for the week on Friday. Do what you want with that conspiracy theorist. Yes.
That's rather ominous.
Do what you want with that conspiracy theorist, but it is what it is. Next week we will be on our winter break. A couple other things, as I did mention last week on the show, if you want to participate and be a part of the Two Dum Yinzers, guys, do email. Send us your email showing your interest. We have a lot of things coming forward. We're going to, as we said last week, be adding regulars, semi-regulars. We're also going to be doing bringing people in for different kind of segments. And finally, any kind of splinter shows, maybe shows that kind of come off of what we do. Also, that is going to be coming up here in this year. A couple other things. If you do want to advertise or promote your business, do get a hold of us and send us an email. Let us know, give us your inquiry, because we will also be doing that as well. Guys, we'll be doing sponsors and promoting businesses also moving forward. And finally, and Mike just put up the email address on the terrible board. You can go ahead and look at that, copy, paste it, do whatever you need to do. Send us that information. And also, do you have a show already? Do you know somebody who does? We're going to be opening up certain Saturdays on the network for shows of people that maybe are just starting out. Maybe you've been doing it for a while. Maybe you have an established show. We will be opening up our Saturdays, guys, on the network to cross-promote through networking, and we'll be putting different shows on our channel on selected Saturdays, again, to reach both audiences. So again, if that interests you as well, if you have a show already, an existing show, and maybe even just starting a show, do let us know, guys. We'll be putting that together as well. A lot of work to be done next week, guys. So again, we will be taking our winter break. This Friday will be the last day, and then we'll be coming back the following Monday, not the following Monday, but the following Monday. So again, guys, all that stuff, I will talk about that later on in the show, bring it up again. And again, do send your emails to twodumyinzers@gmail.com. That is the email address here. So do send with all and any inquiries to that email address, guys. Even any questions, don't be afraid to ask. So here we be. It'd be Monday morning, guys. It's going to be warm. It's a heat wave coming through Western PA. Temperatures are going to get all the way up to the 40s at the end of the week, Mike. And I hope and I think that we're going to be hitting the we're going to be melting. Our snow's going to be melting here finally for us a little bit
I
as
hope
it
so.
goes on. Still a pain in the ass here at the lot at the studio, and we're hoping that that does start melting by the end of the week, guys. I think it's going to be the 40s. It's going to go up a little every day, and I'll take it as the snow needs to go away at some point, Mike.
Yeah, it needs to go away. I am tired of this snow. I like the winter. I like the cooler months, but a foot of snow's fun. But when it stays around for an extra 2 weeks, I'm over it at this point. I'm tired of pushing cars out of the snow. I'm ready for a little heat wave.
It's been a rough one. It's been a rough one so far. No two ways about it. Let's get to the board, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you be at. Welcome to the show. I'm going to start right here with my man Corey Beavers on the very first message of the day. He says, "Hey, fellas, I'm so hyped to share with you guys that I got my first sponsor. I wanted to thank you guys because of all the advice you gave me in the beginning of my journey. Of course, man, I'm super excited for you. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to hear all about it. Congratulations, man. That is really awesome." And the days. Yeah, good.
I was going to say, that's awesome, Corey. Well done. Well
yeah,
done.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And the thing is that, a lot of people love conspiracy theories. It's just getting your name out there and having people find you and know where you are and know who you are and stuff. And that just takes time. So congratulations. You got to this point pretty quick, and keep going, man. Keep up the hard work. End of days says Steelers beat the suck-ass Patriots. You know what? We beat that team. And we got beat up by the other team. That was kind of what I went on, Mike. A lot of times I kind of can monitor. I do monitor on how we handle a game against teams. And you know what? Straight up, Seattle was just better than us. Yes, the ball did bounce off of Caleb Williams on a kickoff, or Caleb Johnson on a kickoff. I'm sorry. But all in all, they were just a better team than we were. And New England, I thought, was a good team. We made them turn the ball over 5 times in that game. That was the big difference there. But it really seemed to me that this was going to be Seattle's game. A lot of people assumed that Seattle was going to win this one, and they did. They did not disappoint again, as they give New England their 6th Super Bowl loss of all time, putting them in the lead. And in my opinion, what the Patriots fans will say will be this. They'll say, well, at least we've been to those 6 Super Bowls. You didn't even go. Well, that's not really an accomplishment, guys. We don't celebrate the losers because, again, that is the biggest loser in the NFL, the team that loses to the Super Bowl, and you've done it more times than any, Mike. So, again, you're even worse off than the Bills and the Vikings in some senses, who have went 4 times and lost all 4. In my opinion, yes, they did win some, but again, if they lose another one, Mike, all of the Super Bowls that they have won, which is a lot, they're going to have more losses than that, which is even better. So I'm all for it again. Mike, if the Patriots can lose another one, I don't listen. If they would have won last night, we would kind of be in a position that we'd have to really step our asses up and quit effing around, because if they went from their dynasty, had their downtime, and then got back in it and won the Super Bowl, there'd be no more excuses. We'd have to we'd have to figure it out fast, because are we any closer than we were? So in that aspect, I do think that it was a good thing that they lost, but at the end of the day, guys, now we have to start looking at things saying, what, we had a chance to be down, as we were one other time. Whenever the San Francisco 49ers passed us in the 90s, they got to their 5th Super Bowl when we were still sitting on 4. Very similar situation. So it was nice that the Patriots did lose last night in the game against the Seattle Seahawks. Again, 29-13 was the final score in that game. Let's get back to the terrible board, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. John, my man, Big John Stud, middle name Mud, Steeler Freak. He says, "This, I just saw a video from 3 years ago. Ryan must have had an ex looking for alimony because he showed his face back then." That's true. That was the uncloned Ryan. The uncloned Ryan. Let's go to Steeler Freak. Says this to Corey. To Corey, he says, Derpy doesn't count as a sponsor. I guess if he's paying you out, if he's paying out money to you, I guess he can be, but the Derp Dog. Steeler Freak also says, the most boring Super Bowl yet. It was pretty boring. As a matter of fact, I looked at it on 3 different levels. The game was boring. The halftime show I'll get into shortly. But overall, was the New England Patriots losing their 6th Super Bowl, and that was a win for me. So, again, 1 loss, 1 win. The loss because it was boring, the win because the Patriots lost. We'll get to the tiebreaker here in just a minute. We'll talk about this halftime show. Again, this gained a lot of conversation, a lot of interest, got a lot of people's attention. We'll get into that shortly. Corey says this, at John, laugh my ass off. Damn it, I knew it sounded too good to be true. Let's go to RB. Tits or us? What's up, baby? Tits or us? Hold on. I'm going to get to this comment in just a second here. Tits or us? Yinzer Joe says this. He says Patriots have the most losses in the Super Bowl history. Feels good to be a Yinzer. It sure does. And as you can see, Mike has his two Dum Yinzers hat on. Look at that right there. Beautiful Scully hat. You can get one of those right over in the merchandise page. Let me scoot up here. 2RB says reports your case. You're going after Gainwell, halfback, one money. And you know what? I'm seeing this too. I'm reading that teams are probably going to be willing to give him 2 to 3 times the money what we're paying him here in Pittsburgh. I did bring up the possibility of Kansas City last week. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with Kenneth Gainwell. Again, team MVP this past season. He was the only one that continued to have a strong season, I think, the whole way through and through. So it's going to be interesting. He's worth more than $4 million a season. So I started watching halfback film this week. John says the Seahawks defense is what the Steelers defense should have been for the price they paid out. What's one big thing you notice about that, though? They don't have guys that are 40 years old. The Seattle defense was tough. They're young. I was just looking at the age. Like, this whole team was built off of the draft. These are all, I mean, with the exception of their quarterback, these are all young players from the draft. Yeah. And they're playing like they're young players. They're quick. They're to it. They're on the ball. They see shit. Again, you know, we have a guy pushing 40 and a guy who's making all the money on the team, over 30. Again, maybe going somebody a little younger and faster could be an idea. It seems to be working elsewhere, but again, sometimes we just hate giving up. We hate giving up some of our big names in this town because we own the jersey, and
yeah,
you know.
And like the oldest guy on the defense was Dexter Lawrence, and he was out there making plays.
Yeah,
and a lot of those guys too were just getting home with 4 guys, just bullying the people in front of them. And then how many times can you run the same corner blitz, but run it till they stop it, I guess.
And they weren't stopping it. I see right off the top, RB is saying this. They aren't paying an edge rusher $150 million. Ding, ding, ding. RB, you do win. You win that question. I'm sorry. Just Learning says May. Okay, May and Darnold aren't good. RB says, I really like Clemson. Adam Randall, 6'3", 225, was a 5-star recruit, switched to halfback as his junior season when Clemson failed to get a transfer halfback. If you get a chance, watch him. I'll check him out. Adam Randall. John says, correct. Mike, I said the same thing. The Steelers fans are used to terrible offensive play.
Yes, we are.
Yinzer Joe, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Yinzer Joe on the board. He says this. And now we have a coach who's never been an offensive coordinator before. Great. Let's see. Let me scoot up here. John says, if I take a picture of my penis and ask to my resume, please let Peaches also vote on my employment. Sure, absolutely. Send it on over, Mike. You handled that, then we'll get that.
No, that's good. Like the minute I see your name, that's just getting forward, not getting opened.
Vegas says, what's up, fellas? What's good? What's going on with you, brother? Always great seeing Vegas on the terrible board all the way from Vegas. He says, didn't Phil see his shadow? He did. And you know what? I'm not listen, it's going to be nice this week, but it won't surprise me if we get killed and clobbered by more storms. It's just, come on, this has been a winter the past few years. Certainly here in Western PA, it hasn't been very wintry. I wouldn't be surprised if we get slammed again before this is all over, but it is February. So December, January is out of the way. We're into February, guys. So maybe that is a plus. Lindsay, good morning. Good afternoon to you. She says, hey, always great seeing Lindsay on the terrible board. Aaron J, here we go. Steelers with the Rockets. There it is, Mike. I could go on with my day. I got
Yep, we got it in early, baby.
Got it in early. Yinzer Joe says, if your team loses a playoff game or a Super Bowl, your coach should be fired or resign, just like Tomlin did. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? He says, scooted on me. Mark Malone says, Derpy Production is sponsoring the show. TC, what's up, brother? Always great seeing my man from Aliquippa. He says this. I guess I was right. TC, it's not often that you were wrong, brother, and I could certainly attest to that. Mark Malone says this. You got to do the ad readies for Derpy's midget movies. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pike, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know about his midget porn, whatever the hell he's involved with, but a lot of cool stuff coming. What's going on, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone, my man, the GOAT. Bro, I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. I hope you had a nice evening watching the game. TC says, good afternoon, everybody. RB says they aren't paying an edge rusher $150 million. Bingo. Tyrone says this officially off season. It is officially the start of the 2026 season, if you will. Again, this month we'll have the combine at the end of the month going into March. March we have free agency. April we have the draft. And again, guys, this time next year we'll have possibly 1 to 4, possibly people in the Hall of Fame from the Steelers, as there are 4 people that are going to be that are going to be eligible to have their first vote to see if they can make the Hall of Fame. This could be the year of the Steelers, guys. A lot of things are going to be happening on the extracurricular front. So I'd like this football team to get its shit together, Mike, to have a good season on the football field, because there's a lot of cool things that are going to be happening again with the draft and all these people eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. So it would be nice. It would be nice to see this team do something forward, moving in a sense, maybe show us something offensively that makes us happy, put together some complete games, get into January and win possibly. Some of those things would be really nice to see. I'm hoping that this is the way things go. And again, tie that in with the draft, Hall of Fame coming up next year. It could be a big year. So again, this offseason, guys, just as big as any, for many reasons. It truly, honestly is. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike, are in the offseason, and we are starting the 2026 season now, basically, as again Super Bowl 60 wraps up with Seattle winning 29-13 over the New England Patriots. Mike?
Yeah, do you piggyback on your thought there about the Steelers moving forward? Like, not just the Steelers, but in all the Pittsburgh sports teams. Pirates are making some big moves and free. Looking like there's signs they're going to move forward. The Penguins are rocking and rolling going into this Olympic break. They can keep it going. And the Steelers, it's a season of change. Every team has a new head coach. We have now the Steelers have a new head coach as well. New philosophy in here. Like you're saying, the draft is here. Let's have a good draft. Let's get a good regular season, a good postseason, and then culminate that with hopefully seeing at least Big Ben inducted into the Hall of Fame. Hopefully LC Greenwood finally gets his recognition, and we, like you said, players like Harrison and Hines Ward, maybe they can make it a little further in the voting process as well. So there's a lot of things to be positive about, to look forward to for this season, not just for the Steelers, but Pittsburgh sports in general, but the Steelers in particular, man. There's a lot to look forward to and a lot to be excited and engaged with this entire offseason, and we're going to be here for all of it.
Yes, we sure are. It's going to be a blast, guys. This, again, could be one of the biggest off seasons ever in the history of the Steelers. No two ways about it. Certainly one that makes things possible for many, many years down the road. So, guys, we will be here for all of it, and I know that you guys will be too. Tortilla Jackson, I swear to you, good afternoon, good morning to you. But when that gentleman ran out onto the football field last night on the streaker, I said to Mike, I was like, is that Tortilla? I bet you that's Tortilla. I knew the game being out your way somewhat, and I thought to myself, if anybody I know from California would run out on that field, and I understand there's a lot of people in California that would do this, but from the people that I know personally, I said, that's Tortilla. That's got to be him. But you know what? We've seen pictures. We know Tortilla from the show with Jamal and the gang. So, again, we knew almost immediately it wasn't him. But my first thought was, I bet you any money. I bet you any money that's Tortilla. And it was not. But that somebody did win their prop bet, as the hairy guy did run out on the field. And he got more yards than New England did. So I got to give him props, Mike.
I think everyone got more yards.
I got more yards than New England did
Bad
last
Bunny
night.
got more yards. The streaker got more yards.
Yeah.
That New England offense was putrid. But, yeah, I really did. I thought it was Tortilla.
Yinzer Joe says he wasn't a streaker. He was just somebody that was running from ice, and that was his best route, was to get out on the field, maybe.
Well,
so he could
well, they
away.
heard Tortillas. They like, that guy's name's Tortilla. We got to go get that little fucker. I see some little ginger running out there.
Let's get to John. John says, this is scouting and coaching are the Steelers scouting and coaching are the Steelers that must be addressed. We focus on new staff. I wonder what they are doing to the scouting staff. Very good point, John. Very good point. Kenneth, great to see you today, sir, on this post Super Bowl Monday, guys. What a season. It went by fast. We're back to this point to where we're waiting till preseason. We got a whole bunch of things going on. So much stuff going on this offseason. There won't be any time for breaks as far as our Steelers go, but we're all back at that point now. I can't wait to get the preseason. I can't wait to get a look at Will Howard. What's going to go on with Aaron Rodgers? Some news on that over the weekend. We're getting into so much today. Great to see you, Kenneth. Always great to see you, my man, on the terrible board. Yinzer Joe says this Steelers and New England are both in the top 10 in spending on free agency this season. Both went to the Super Bowl. That is interesting. That is interesting. Lindsay says, yes, I'm sick of this weather. I couldn't agree with you more. It's supposed to be, it's going to warm up a little bit this week just to kind of melt some snow for us. And I think that's a step in the right direction. Just Learning says this. He says, why did they go for 2 at the end? It cost me $125. If they kicked the extra point, they would let me listen to this. Finch, we get a message right after the game for him. Apparently his dad hit the score right on the head. $1,600 he won by getting the score perfect. That's Finch's dad, a big winner last night, guessing the score exactly of the Super Bowl last night.
Some people have all the luck, and some people have none of the luck, and I'm one of the people who have none of the luck. None of my bets hit.
Get out of here. You're lucky as hell.
I know you. How is that being lucky?
RB says the entire league is built to move the ball and stop the ball in the middle of the field. Tomlin built a team to move and stop the ball on the outside, 8 years behind the times. Mark Malone says this. I'm hoping for a 1 foot of snow here. You were still hoping for all that snow, Mark Malone, huh? Do want to say welcome to you, sir.
I think he just wants to be locked in and have an excuse to huff all of his paint.
Hey,
and, I'm not knocking it.
May choked like CJ. You know what? May's a little too early in this thing, and you know what? It's at the end of the day, if that was the best that the AFC has to offer, that's certainly a knock on us in a sense, because if that display that went out there last night from the AFC was the the team to look for, the team to be in the AFC, what does that say about us? We did beat them, albeit we did beat New England. So at the end of the day, maybe we could have played just as good as they played in the game, and that's not saying much, but Richard says this. He says defense will still wins championships. They sure do. They showed it last night.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder what kind of defense wins Super Bowls. There you go. I mean, you watched that game and you seen what they did. You watched 18 of our games. You seen what we did. What's the differences? Take a look and just kind of point out the differences on what they are, and just that might answer some of your questions. Steeler Freak says, I knew the young quarterback would unravel. TC says Drake couldn't handle the pressure. Damn shame. You know, they couldn't even do anything. That was the great part about it. Like, just not wanting them to win it. It was seeing them not be able to do anything.
Dude, it was so much fun watching Will Campbell get continually pushed back into the pocket. Him and his little T-Rex arms just getting bull rushed. Their center getting bull rushed. It was if you like defense, it was fun to watch that offensive line just not have. They literally had no answer for the 4 pass rushers that Seattle was just pushing out there. May was under pressure. There were a couple times though, when he was able to take off up the middle, and I'm surprised they didn't have more designed runs for him. Allow him to use his legs to make plays, because you knew where the rushers were coming from. Why not, dial up some designed runs for him and let him just scamper up the middle? You saw on the one touchdown drive, it was, eased it, or I think it might have been one of the drives where they kicked the field or whatever happened to them. He was moving the ball with his legs, and they even said, by number wise, he was the most prolific rushing quarterback of the season. Why not let him use his legs? You saw it, when the pocket was breaking down, he couldn't do anything, but when there's a crease there, go for it. So dial up some design runs for him. It was just weird the way McDaniel was calling plays there. It's like he channeled his days as the Broncos offensive or as the Broncos head coach. He forgot how to call a competent game plan. But it was fun to watch that front four, and every once in a while when they kept blitzing, who was it, Witherspoon, just the havoc they were causing. It was fun to watch as a fan of defensive football.
If you love defensive football, it was a good one. You know what? It was wild because at the end of the third quarter, the scoring was a minimum. I forget what it was. It was low. In New England, they just scored that first touchdown or something. And Mike goes, "Well, it's the fourth quarter. What's going to happen? What are we going to see in the fourth?" And I was like, "I bet you we see 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter."
Yep.
And you know what? It was bang, 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 bang.
Yep.
Sure enough,
yep.
In normal NFL fashion, like them turning it on in the fourth quarter and putting up mad points. That was not a surprise, as again, the final score ended up being 29-13, which at halftime you would have never guessed that the score would have ended up 29-13.
Yeah, all it took was that one touchdown. And I think I even said, like, yeah, you're right, because there'll be one touchdown. Next thing you know, New England will press, and therefore Seattle will start pressing, trying to close out the game early after that touchdown is going to leave creases in their defense. And what, three plays down, New England goes and scores a touchdown, and then Seattle goes down and scores again. It was exactly how you and I were calling it, how it was going to happen.
It's wild. You
It
can't
was
move it.
funny.
You can't move the ball 3 feet all game, and in the fourth quarter you could score two touchdowns. It's just, NFL is crazy like that. And again, why didn't you go to some of this? Again, a lot of stuff to get into today. Let me get some more messages. I'm going to go right here with Tortilla. Tortilla says this: yeah, I was supposed to run out during the halftime show, but I was late. I could have swore it was you. And you want to just another real funny side story about you, Tortilla. That's right, about you. I was getting my car worked on. It was in the garage over the weekend, and I was talking to the guy that was working as the mechanic, and we're BSing for a couple minutes. And he said that he was from Sacramento, California. He just moved here. And the very first thing that popped in my head was to ask him, do you know Tortilla Jackson? Of course, why would he, right? I mean, there's a gazillion people on this planet, and California is quite a big place. But that was my first thought, was to ask if he knew Tortilla. I didn't ask him.
Do you know this guy who goes by the alias Tortilla?
Yeah, he goes by Tortilla on YouTube. You might know him. But he was an interesting guy. As a matter of fact, he was so interesting. Get this. This is not a lie. It's 100% true story. He showed me. He said that him and his ex-girlfriend, who lives in California, he got D's and she got nuts tattooed on the inside of their bottom lip. Why? I don't know. But he was like, you ever heard of the phrase D's nuts? And I'm like, of course, man.
Who has it?
Right. So he pulls down his lip, and sure enough, it said D's on the inside of his lip. And I guess the X says nuts and whatever. Talking about commitment, love.
If that isn't America in a nutshell, I don't know what is, brother. That just brings a tear to my eye. And the bald eagles are crying as well.
Yeah. I could have met Tortilla's neighbor. I don't know who this guy was, but I do know that he was from Sacramento area. Let's go through.
Do you know Tortilla Jackson?
Don't Drink That says, I saw a lot of symbolism in the halftime show that kind of correlates with my theory of Patriots losing, resembles America's falling in light of everything going on with ICE and the Jeffrey Epstein files. That is interesting, Corey. And also with the Olympics, I'm certainly very aware of a lot of the symbolism going on that people are talking about there. Maybe you could, one of your new videos will have this. And again, go check out Corey. Don't Drink That. It is a podcast right here on YouTube about conspiracy theories, all kind of cool stuff, government stuff, time travel stuff. If you're into conspiracy theories, go check Corey out. Don't Drink That right here on YouTube. Tyrone says Drake May's a bum. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, he was. It makes you wonder, though. It makes you wonder if they. Yes, he was. The thing was, there's no excuse for how Drake May played, but that defense was effing banging.
They were all over the place, man. They were flying to the ball. He had a couple nice throws. That one where he threw it and there's like 5 defenders in the area and he just dropped it in the bucket. That was a big time throw. And I don't want to say the moment was too big for him, but I think that defense was just flying around and they had an answer for everything New England was doing in the passing game. And that's why I thought, I would have more designed runs for Drake May would have been a nice counterbalance to Seattle's aggressiveness. But that defense, you got to tip the cap to that, man. They played a hell of a game.
And one thing you got to remember, guys, New England did play a last place schedule as they finished in last place last year. So they got a last place schedule. They ran that pretty good throughout the season. And then in the playoffs, they had some games that, might have been tougher, had situations been tougher. They kind of snuck into the Super Bowl in a sense. Again, Denver's the number 1 seed. You don't have to play their number 1 quarterback the whole way down. I forget what the other things were, but I do know that they kind of had this an easy path to the Super Bowl, I guess you could call it. And maybe we got what we deserved when that played out the way that it did, Mike, because again, this Seattle team was what you've seen all season. They were one of the better teams. They came out and showed you that. And New England basically showed you that they are a team that played the worst schedule, one of the worst schedules in the league. One of the easiest schedules in the league. Had a couple games in the playoffs that should have been a little tougher, but they kind of fell into the Super Bowl. So again, I think it played out just right. And again, this was a Super Bowl, a football game like that. You didn't have to really freak out and have heart attacks and be the anxiety get high. And because Seattle pretty much handled it from the beginning, albeit there was like 4 or 5 field goals to start the game for them, they never looked like they weren't in control of this football game. So as a Steeler fan, hoping New England would win, you kind of watched with ease throughout the course of the game, thinking, you know what, we have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and Seattle was smart on offense. They really weren't forcing a whole lot of things. I thought they had some dumb play calls, like trying to do like trick plays inside their own 25, inside their own 30, that were like Matt Canada-esque type plays. But they played it smart, took their shots when they were there, relied on their defense, relied on the kicker, and relied on their running back to carry the load. And that was a smart move. You saw, the passing game wasn't there, especially when JSN went down, because he wasn't that effective before he got hurt. But New England's defense was playing balls to the wall too.
That's the thing. They do have a strong defense.
Having a whale of a game, but no one else was able to get open from their other corners as well. So Seattle played it smart, took their shots when they were there, and just ran the ball, took the points when available, and they played field position. Man, their punter and their special teams had a whale of a game too. It was a, I don't want to say a complete game because their offense wasn't up to par what we saw most of the year, but they played complementary football throughout that entire game. Hey, we know our offense isn't doing well, but we know our defense and special teams are. Offense, just keep it close. Don't turn the ball over. Keep chewing the clock, and that's what they did. It was a total team win by Seattle.
Again, New England never won the Super Bowl without Tom Brady under center. It's never happened. They've won 6 with Tom Brady back there. But they've never won it without him back there. So there you go, guys. Drake May, again, looking very, very much like a sophomore in his sophomore season in the NFL. Ben does keep the record for the youngest quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl with Drake May losing last night. So we'll take that. So many things to get into today, guys. Let's stay up on the board here, though, as we do move along, Mike. I'm going to say Tyrone right here. All we had to do was beat the Texans. All we had to do was beat them damn Texans, man. Tortilla says, I took my glasses off and thought Mac Jones was out there.
Oh, damn.
Lindsay says, yep, and we couldn't do it, Tyrone. Mark Malone says, nah, I'll huff paint and go snow wheeling, baby. All right.
There you go, brother.
Ty says, Lindsay, don't start with me. Mark Malone says, they don't clear the roads around here. Yeah, they're struggling this year. I don't know what the hell the problem is. Again, they ran out of salt within the first storm. So what they do for the other 9 months of the year, I'll never know, but it surely ain't preparing for storms in the winter. Ty says, wait till we get wide receiver 2 and fix the defense a little bit, left guard and D-back, DB safety and real linebacker. John says, Campbell chicken soup. Tortilla says, Broderick the White. John says Campbell made B. Jones look like it all. Yes, for sure. You ain't kidding. Wow.
It was bad. He was the 5th overall pick in the draft too. I think 4th or 5th. He was picked really high, and I don't want to say what people want to say like it was his short arms. I think it was just, dude was just getting beat, man. His footwork was god awful. It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
That team didn't belong in the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. Listen, I'm not saying that New England's not good. They got a nice defense, and you know what? The offense certainly leaves a lot to be desired, and they probably will be good going down the road. But it was early for New England, and everybody kind of felt that, I think. And it was very obvious. A lot of people thought and said and predicted and hoped that Seattle would win, and it went just that way. Again, there was never any point during the game that you thought that it was going to go the other way. New England just wasn't. They're early. It's not their time yet. Happy for Seattle. Good for them. They get their 2nd Super Bowl win in their franchise history, Mike, as they go 2-2 overall in this century. Never been to the Super Bowl prior to 2005. They have gone 2-2 in the past 20 years. So say what you want about Seattle. They're getting there. Let me jump right up here to TC. You can't fumble in the Super Bowl. You cannot fumble in the Super Bowl. You have 60 minutes of your life. You better hold on to that damn ball better than you ever have in your whole life. Jamal, what's up, dude? Gang, brother. Always great seeing Jamal on a terrible board. Hope you had a great Super Bowl Sunday, sir. Always great seeing the great Jamal on the terrible board. Kenneth says this. That would have been too smart, Mike. Steeler Freak says 3-0 first. You know what? And that's what I said to Mike. We were watching the game, and I said, you know what? This better be better than the 13-3 Patriots Rams Super Bowl. And it certainly wasn't looking like it was when it was 12-0 in the third quarter. I thought this is going to be a lower scoring game than that game. And again, 29-13. I would have never guessed that in the third quarter even. Steel Menace, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the Steel Menace on the board. He says this, Seattle had Drake May playing like Drake May again. They did. They sure did. And once they beat the Rams last week and Matthew Stafford, I thought there's no way that New England offense is going to beat this team. There's just no way. Again, the MVP Matt Stafford couldn't get it done. So I didn't think Drake May was ultimately going to get it done. TC says this Kraft snub Brady snubbed and the Patriots got drugged. Tortilla says, what was the best commercial? You know what? Duncan was pretty awesome. I liked it. All the 90s sitcom people, George Costanza from Seinfeld and Carlton from Fresh Prince and Urkel from Family Matters and Joey from Friends, the whole way down. It was a really cool commercial. I thought the Duncan commercial, and you know what? I didn't really pay great attention to the commercials. I should have paid more attention. But from what I saw, that was my favorite. A lot of people say the Budweiser commercial, and I must have missed it because I didn't see a really good Budweiser commercial, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. That just means that I didn't see it. Let me scoot up here a little bit more too. Ty says this, Pat should have been their Denver. Pat should have been their Denver, been way better guy. Yeah, probably. And I think Denver would have struggled too. I just do. Somber says I probably watched 40 total snaps of that game. Not gonna lie, more important things to do like play skate. Tortilla says I'm weak. Lindsay says yeah, I didn't watch it all. John says point came late because Seattle's defense was giving up yards for time. Exactly, and that's usually the case in fourth quarters, especially when you're up big. The Patriots were giving up points because they were tired. Tyrone says that game was ass. It was a lame Super Bowl. But you know what? The results were kind of what I was just the only thing I really wanted. I just wanted the results to be what they were. That way, New England could have their sixth loss, and we could all move on and be happy in that sense. TC, maybe the Patriots is not the answer for the Patriots. John says let's keep politics out. TC says Drake is not the answer. Gotcha. I get in the second season, just like with CJ Stroud and his early on, you got to give some of these guys a little bit more time. And you know what? The better they don't come along, better for us at the end of the day. So I'm all for it. Let them continue to fail in New England. That works for me. Let's see. You met a lot. You met a latte. How do you say it? A latte? Mike, how would you pronounce that?
A latte Jackson.
Let's see. Yeah, he was a cool guy. He was interesting. The guy with the tattoo of these nuts on his lips. Let's see, Jamal. Jamal says this. We knew absolutely. It would have really, really shocked the hell out of me if New England would have found a way to win this football game. And you kind of go into the game thinking that, all right, how's this going to play out? Because all they did was talked about how much Seattle was going to win, and I would have been very, very, very surprised if New England would have found the way to win that football game, guys. I truly, honestly would have. They didn't belong there. Let's go to Yinzer Joe. I noticed notable passes over the middle all game that were intercepted or battled away. Maybe working the sidelines would have been a better way to advance the ball. Jamal says this. He only had 60 yards passing. It wasn't good, man. You know who had a really good game was the MVP, Kenneth
Walker.
Kenneth Walker III. Man, was he a runner. Very, very similar. I never realized how similar to Le'Veon Bell, Mike. He has a lot of patience back there. He could sit and he could kind of stoop behind the line for a second or two, wait for the hole to open, and he hits it. It was very much watching Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, especially on that one where he literally did do the Le'Veon Bell. I'm just gonna, do the little stutter steps up to the line, just do a shuffle up there and wait. And that little seam hit and that explosiveness that he showed on that run was a thing of beauty. And a lot of his runs too, he was setting them up, but nothing like that one right there. That was the most Le'Veon Bell run we've seen in the NFL since Lev Bell was in his prime. And there were some runs too where he just get the ball, put his foot in the dirt, and he was gone through the hole and just making moves on the edge. He's a fun back to watch, man. He's what came out of Michigan State, kind of like Lev Bell, same thing as Lev Bell, both in the second round. If he can ever develop, into a pass catcher, he can become a complete back in the league. And there were concerns going into the Super Bowl. Could he carry the whole load ever since their backup running back got hurt? Because he's not their primary blocker or receiver. But man, he had a hell of a Super Bowl and a well-deserving Super Bowl MVP.
I might, if you didn't know about Kenneth Gainwell, maybe you're from Pittsburgh and you just don't keep up with what's going on in Seattle. You learned a little bit last night about Kenneth Gain, or I'm sorry,
Kenneth
not
Walker.
Kenneth Walker. I'm sorry, the third, as he did look like the Super Bowl MVP
yeah.
from beginning to end. Mike,
Yep.
there was not a time early on we're thinking who's going to win this MVP, who's going to win the MVP. Kenneth Walker the third wins it, Mike, and I think very easily. And in the fourth quarter, he was running like he was still playing in the first quarter when everybody else was running like they were in the fourth quarter. It was a treat to watch the young man. Again, he wins Super Bowl MVP. Kenneth Walker the third gets it done, and the Seattle Seahawks again beat the New England Patriots. Let's scoot up a little bit further here, Mike, on the terrible board. Mark Malone says, hell, I didn't even watch most of it. I'm going to go right here. Steeler Freak John. Steelers, Seahawks took the bubble wrap off of May and wore his ass out. Also following that up by saying, John says this, I stopped really paying attention to 12-0. It might as well have been 120-0 at that time. M. Sparks, what's good, brother? He says this, Yins, Pittsburgh for life. Pittsburgh Steelers for life. We got our first engagement in the family. Congratulations, Courtney. What am I looking at here? What am I looking at? Is this a real engagement or is this in our family? Congratulations, Courtney Jackson, number 84 from the Berg. Too bad it had to be the Birdies. Jamal says Seattle was the best team in the by far. by far. They truly, honestly were. What a good team that was. And you know what? They deserved the Super Bowl win. Jamal also says this. He says, I feel Mac Jones is better than Drake May. You know what? Only time will tell. But again, it was a very, very, very subpar performance for New England's offense in its entirety. I'll just say that. We'll continue to follow and see what the hell this team got going on. But it couldn't have went any better for a Steeler fan. I loved it. I loved the way it went. Stu, the bus driver, he says even Super Bowl commercials were dumb. Philly Bass for life. You know what? And again, I seen about three, and I really liked the one again, the Duncan commercial. I thought that was cool. But everything else, I didn't really pay too much attention to as far as commercials. We'll get to the halftime show just here shortly. Let's go to Tyrone. He is mid as F. Mid as fuck. He says Tortilla says, nah, he had a bad game for sure, but he still had a really good year. We'll see how he bounces back. Jamal said he had a bad playoff run entirely. You know what? And again, Jamal, he played a last place schedule. New England was 4-13. They played, as easy as of a schedule that it could have possibly been for them this year. So that's something to keep in mind as well. M. Sparks says next best thing to a Steelers win is a New England loss, especially in the Super Bowl. We'll take it for sure, brother. I hope you had a great weekend, man. Tortilla says a playoff run nonetheless, though. Jamal says I slept during the game. It certainly wasn't a great game. It was not a great game. Tyrone says good regular season playoff. He ain't built for it. Jamal says, yeah, great defense can do that for you for sure. He said a 36-13. You were close. 29-13. So they would have scored one more touchdown. Wasn't the touchdown called back at one point because of a hold or something?
Yeah, the long run by Kenneth Walker. It was called back.
If that wouldn't have got called back on that hold by the center, and I don't remember, they might have kicked the field goal on that drive, but they would have got that touchdown for you, bro. You would have nailed it. And as I said earlier, Finch's dad just won $1,600 for getting the score exactly right last night.
He called into the officiating crew. He's like, listen here, motherfuckers. You're calling that flag. I need this money.
Jamal said this. He says, of course, there had to be Masonic number score. I hear you. Everybody might not hear you, but I hear you. Tortilla says this. All right. We're not going to act like he wasn't second in MVP voting. He still played good enough. No, for sure. I mean, we know he's good. But again, for somebody that don't pay attention to the Seahawks, like a lot of Steeler fans don't, you know what you know, you hear what you hear. But to actually get that, sit down and watch him play on the big stage as he did last night, it really, I think, educated a lot of people, Mike, of who this young man is. And it's, again, going to be exciting to see what goes down with him as his career moves forward. Very, very similar to Le'Veon Bell in his style. So I'm certainly going to keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, especially for Walker. In May, he went from like completing 72% of his passes in the regular season to 58 in the postseason. Is he going to be one of those guys where he's lights out during the regular season and gets to the postseason and shits the bed, or is it just a second year player, his first year in the playoffs, he was meh and can turn it around? So that's going to be interesting to see if Drake May can start to turn it on in the playoffs going forward in his career. Early signs are saying no, but it's his first postseason. Did make it to a Super Bowl. But we'll see what he can do going forward because the numbers drop significantly. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the postseason. And 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in the regular season. He almost, he threw half the amount of interceptions he did all year in 3 games than he did in 17. That's a bit concerning right there. Or in 4 games, if I'm a Patriots fan, how in the postseason he became turnover happy, where in the preseason or in the regular season he was very safe with the football.
Jamal says this, man. You see the story about Bob Saget? What do you? You know what? There's a lot of really bad things going on out there. I'll just say that. Because you obviously follow a lot of stuff that I do and are interested in a lot of stuff that I am. And again, we could really go on for hours with these kind of conversations. I'll just acknowledge that there's a lot of really bad things going on in this around us anymore. It's hard to see where this whole thing is going, but yes, I did see that, Jamal. Tortilla says if Will Howard had his season, we'd be calling him the GOAT. Probably. Jamal says, yeah, but he's not a Steeler. LOL. Let's go right here. Tyrone says regular season GOAT. M. Sparks, the Seattle pass rush, bad left side on the line and stage was far too big for Drake May. Absolutely. They're too early. I'm not saying New England's not going to be a team to be reckoned with down the road, but right now it was, to me, a sign of what the AFC really has, a sign of the AFC without Mahomes, a sign of AFC, and it's a year that Allen and Lamar and Mahomes, I mean, these guys weren't even they didn't even give themselves a chance to be in the running. So it really felt like a watered down AFC to me. And that was what we got. Really, really takes you back to when we were kids, Mike, when the NFC won like 16 straight years in a row or whatever it was. And the AFC teams just never stood a chance. Yep. That's how those games felt when you watched them. The same way you just watched New England play out, Mike, in this one. Just no chance at all. It was very lame. Yep. And you've seen the domination was certainly more on the NFC side. Mm-hmm. And I would contest that, Mike, that's the whole way from top to bottom as far as the NFC goes right now. There's a lot of strong teams over there. The AFC, a lot of teams trying to find their identity to hopefully become that team. Denver had a great season, number 1, but they're still early in my opinion as well. And in the AFC, Mike, I think that's going to be the ongoing theme is try to find out who the top teams are in this conference, because right now, if that's the best we have, the Steelers are very much in the running for this.
Especially with not knowing how Kansas City is going to respond after, their season this year. How are they going to rebuild their roster? How effective will Mahomes be this season coming off that knee injury? Buffalo. Everyone's like, oh, Buffalo's the cream of the crop in the AFC. They can't get past, New England? Or Denver, whoever they lost, I can't remember. Like, they were supposed to be the Super Bowl favorites. Baltimore consistently sitting the bed in the playoffs, a la Buffalo. So it's a hodgepodge of something in the AFC, and looks like the better teams are in the NFC right now. And that's a sickening feeling because I have always hated the NFC. If the Steelers can't make it, I always root for the AFC, except when New England's in, of course. But this should be a wake-up call for the Steelers. Like, hey, a couple good picks, a couple good moves in free agency, you have a chance to be a contender in the AFC. It's a weak AFC. Like you said, it's reminiscent of the 90s. And as we saw in this Super Bowl, Seattle, their defense was good, but it was beatable. And, we were hanging with them early in the season, and their offense in the Super Bowl wasn't looking that good as well. So there's beatable teams in the NFC that Steelers could match up well with if they get their shit together. But can they do it? That's going to be that's a big question. That's a lot of ifs for the Steelers to make it that far. And I think there's a lot of question marks in the AFC too if we can win another Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years.
Kenneth says this. He definitely played like Bell yesterday, of course, talking about the MVP of the Super Bowl. M. Sparks says Steelers always looking at Michigan State for running backs and a Blewett or Jacks. You know what? A lot of times we do. Tyrone says, yeah, he'd been watching 26. And maybe he was, because I tell you what, very similar. And you know what? Similar results. Very tough back to stop, certainly last night. M. Sparks says Santa's eyes picking up Michigan State running backs and miss on Kenneth Walker. Steel Menace, if you're not trying to play football the way Seattle is playing, you're not trying to win championships. I'm going to go right here. Jamal, he says, have you heard from Cody lately? Good question. He was on one day, a couple days last week. He stopped in here. Kenneth Walker, yes, absolutely. M. Sparks, Super Bowl ring. Tyrone says, yeah, in group chat, someone, all right, everybody's seen Cody at least. Tortilla says he's been working a lot. He'll come, though, and say extend PQ, then dip. Let me ask you this. PQ, Mike, what you seen from him in Pittsburgh and what you seen from Robert Spillane, I've been going on a limb, and I would say Robert Spillane has been better than Patrick Queen. I think that he played better than Patrick Queen here. Now, I know that Patrick Queen was a Pro Bowler in Baltimore, but everywhere Robert Spillane goes, there's success that follows. And again, he ends up in the Super Bowl. And again, he was doing things in Vegas, even though they weren't great.
Yeah.
Mike, at this point, is Patrick Queen even any better than Robert Spillane?
I don't think so. I think early on Queen was the better player, and now I think Spillane's the better player. And that happens. You can have early success, and that's when the best years are. Then the back end you slide down. Whereas Spillane, I think, has gotten better as he's gone on. Whereas Queen may have plateaued from his playing in early playing days in Baltimore. So I think Spillane might be the better player right now.
You know what? We all kind of laughed at him and kind of made fun and made jokes when he was here, but the guy has been consistent ever since I've heard of him. You know what I mean? He kind of came out of nowhere when he was here. I didn't know much about him before he came here, but that guy can play.
And it's looked like he's gotten faster too. And I don't know if it's just because maybe the game has slowed down for him and he's anticipating more. But I remember early on when he was here in Pittsburgh, he looked really slow. And then he's always been a good hitter, good tackler. And I think maybe the schemes are better where he is now, and the game has slowed down for him because he's been playing with some really good football the past couple of years. Like
Mike, even go back to the Steelers Ravens when he basically single-handedly stopped the Ravens. Or remember he made that big stop against Lamar at the 2-yard. Like he's a baller. That Robert Spillane, man, I got to give it to him. Maybe he doesn't get the attention that he deserves. Here's another name, like this name right here. We're talking about linebackers. Some speculation about Landon Roberts. With Patrick Graham coming in as our defensive coordinator, does that open anything up for a Landon Roberts maybe to come back to Pittsburgh? He played for him. Little speculation going around, Mike, about possibly a Landon Roberts. Is he better than anybody that starts right now for our inside linebackers? Could he be the guy over Peyton Wilson or Patrick Queen? Take a minute. Just think how Landon Roberts played. He was solid.
He was solid. He was in the Raiders this year?
Yes.
I'm trying to pull up his stats real quick because I can't remember how well another 90 tackle season for him out there.
He's another beast, dude.
Yeah, he's another beast. I could see them bringing him back and moving on from someone like Malik Harrison. Because I think, we were trying to get younger last year in that position, hoping Malik Harrison could fill that role and move on from someone like a Landon Roberts. But he had another solid year, at least number-wise. I didn't watch him play, so I don't know how effective those tackles were. But from what we saw with him here, I always liked him as that key rundown type of guy. Yeah, he's going to be a liability in pass coverage, but at least, in obvious run situations, he's your guy. He's going to make some things happen. He'll fight through a block. So I wouldn't mind having him back in. Then you have that rotation piece with him and Logan Wilson rotating depending on, situations. Him next to Queen would be a good steadying influence as well. And better play up front will make all those linebackers better. So I'm all in favor of bringing Landon Roberts back for one more year. He's going to be 32 next year. But I think he'd be an effective 32 because you're not counting on him to be an every down player. You're counting on him to be a situational player.
All right, let's grab a couple more here, Mike, as we were reaching roughly around the halfway point of the show. And believe it or not, Jamal says, okay, cool. Haven't seen him. Yeah, I was concerned about him a little bit too. He did pop in late last week, though. Cody did. To move up here. Yeah, he's been on some BS. Tyrone says, let's go. Yinzer Joe, he says, all Darnold had to do is not lose the game. And he did it perfect.
Yeah.
He won 14 games 2 years in a row. Nobody else has ever done it besides Tom Brady. And he found a way to win a Super Bowl on a team in his very first year. He did everything that he needed to do to win with the kind of team that won the Super Bowl. And that's defense, not make mistakes on offense, run the ball. He, again, very, very successful, Mike, and he gets a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, and it was well-deserved. Him and McDonald and Kubiak, they weren't forcing anything on offense with him. They weren't trying to make him the MVP. They weren't trying to make him be the guy to like, oh, see, look, we signed him for $100 million. He's going to put up all these yards in the Super Bowl. He's going to be the reason we win. They're like, okay, no, it's not working right now, whether it's you, the receivers, or whatever their defense is doing. Hand the ball off and check down, and if there's a shot open, go deep. And that was the perfect game plan right there. You just play smart situational football. And I'm lost without Ryan. I'm lost. I'm lost. He's back. Okay.
See, why does that keep happening? Because I lose my whole board when that happens.
Yeah, I don't know why that happens either. It happened to me earlier too. But yeah, like they played smart football yesterday, and by not trying to force Darnold to be the hero or the reason why they won the Super Bowl. And it was a well-deserved for him. I was kind of worried early on. I thought he was going to start seeing ghosts on a couple of those drives when they were getting pressure and he was missing throws. And the way New England's corners were starting to jump routes in those first 2 to 3 drives, I thought, oh no, this is going to be the same Darnold we saw last year in the NFC or in the playoffs against Minnesota. But he settled down quick, and the coach's staff did it right. Just hand it off to Walker and let him do the thing. Don't turn the ball over. It was good football. And then that defense just, was nasty, man. They were swarming. And, for people like us who are used to watching bad offenses and good defenses play, this was the Super Bowl we were used to. It was boring. It's boring when it's not your team doing it. So, hopefully next year's Super Bowl when we're in it, our offense is lighting it up, unlike these two offenses.
Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with this system, man. I mean, it's counterproductive for what we're doing, so we really have to focus on. Well, we got the vacation coming up, so, but we are at the halftime point of the show, guys. So this is what we're going to do. We are going to talk about the halftime show of the Super Bowl. That's right. We're going to talk about that Bad Bunny. We're going to talk about all that kind of stuff, guys. And I'm going to give you my listen. I took the liberty of doing this. I wanted to give my most fair assessment of the way that the the halftime show played out in the way that the alternative halftime show played out. So I took the liberty of watching both halftime Super Bowl halftime shows in their entirety. And I do have a conclusion, Mike. Are you ready?
I am ready.
My conclusion about the halftime shows last night is they were both terrible. The one that was on the Super Bowl, the alternate one. Here's my solution. If you want to watch 4 different football games at any given Sunday during the season, you have to turn on to one of the 4 different streaming services, whether it's Amazon, whether it's whatever. Why don't you give people different options anyway? Here's the thing. Not everybody likes heavy metal. Not everyone likes country. Not everyone likes pop. Not everyone likes rap. You have the means now with technology that we have. Why isn't there something for everybody? Why, people are like, they're just, there should be. See, here we go back into the 90s. There would have been different things. If people would have had more options, everybody would have had their own thing. Why now with the technology is everything so limited? I thought both halftime shows were terrible. And for different reasons. I thought that, for one, I don't like country music. So the alternate wasn't that good. And I thought Kid Rock didn't do that great of a job. He obviously was lip syncing through the whole thing. And then in the Bugs Bunny one, okay, I mean the obvious thing is, okay, a lot of people don't speak Spanish, but okay, whatever. He's a Spanish performer. I just, I if I'm watching it to be entertained, I don't know if I was entertained. It just there was nothing about it that really that grabbed my attention. There was nothing about it that I thought, wow, this is really good. I understand that a lot of people are drug into it through the politics of what's going on in the country right now, and whatever. I mean, more power to you. But at the end of the day, I did not think that either one of these shows were that great. Um, Again, with all the different means we have nowadays, give everybody a halftime show. Let everybody have their own favorites. Here's the thing, you could go watch puppies run around on a football field if you want to watch the Puppy Bowl. At the end of the day, why not have other options for everybody? Again, we're in the age where you could actually do that, and we're more situated to do things were in the '90s than we are now. It seems like everybody. It's a weird time. It's a very weird time. But in my opinion, I thought both of the halftime shows were terrible. I didn't see anything that really excited me from either of them. There was nothing. Again, it was a bad Super Bowl, a lame Super Bowl. The halftime shows were puke worthy, in my opinion, both of them. And the only thing that I thought really good come out of this was New England Patriots getting their 6th Super Bowl loss. At the end of the day, that was the big win for me. Everything else, Mike, it just, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it, not for the reasons that people are not enjoying it because they want to argue and fight. I really went into both of those shows with an open mind. I wanted to make a judgment and have an opinion off of what I seen with my own eyes. And I don't know, just didn't impress me. Neither one of them, Mike.
I only watched the NFL's Super Bowl halftime show. I watched it this morning and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked the.
What did
I
you
didn't
enjoy
understand a
most
single word
about?
he
I
said.
need to ask. Listen, the people that liked it, I need to know what you enjoyed most about it because I'm trying to figure out what I did and maybe I missed something. Maybe I should have enjoyed it. But like I said, I looked at it logically. I looked at both of these halftime shows and I said to myself, what do I like? What do I dislike? I just didn't like either of the kinds of. I don't like the new pop music and I don't like country music. So there
Yeah,
was literally nothing for me.
yeah. Um, I really don't like pop music, but if a song has and a performer has good music playing behind it that has a good rhythm, good beat, if I like their voice, the flow of their raps or the flow of their singing voice, I'll listen to it. And then the production value on top of it, the story that was being told through the visuals,
What
I
was the
liked it.
story? Maybe
I
fill me
I
in.
was
What was the
engaged in it
story?
because
I
I
need
liked
maybe I need help.
I liked it was like the story of Puerto Rico and then wrapping it up with the hope for everyone to come together
Well,
as
that was
an
nice. I mean,
entire people and stuff. It was a nice little
but the
story of
show, the
where it
halftime
was
show
like where
itself.
he came from and where he's hoping people can go into the future. Is how I took it. And it was an upbeat song, and there were hot chicks throwing ass. If that doesn't
All right,
excite
so
you,
tell me
I
one
don't know what's.
halftime show that hasn't had hot chicks thrown ass. So that's you could eliminate that.
Yeah,
That's
that was like you were
obvious.
just saying the other day. We need hot chicks shaking their ass. There are
And
hot chicks shaking their
okay,
ass, baby.
and again, I
So
mean,
it
you
was
put
fun.
hot chicks
I
in any
liked it.
video, it's a win. But again, anything else, I still, I mean,
I liked it. It was fun and it was enjoyable. And I'm not one of those people that wants to bitch just to bitch about.
yes,
Oh
you
no,
are.
it's something
Yes,
I
you
don't.
are. That is exactly the kind of person you are. As a matter of
But
fact,
I'm not afraid to go into something that I don't know that's not for me. To have an open mind to see if I
as did
like it or
I.
not. Like a lot of people went into this halftime show. They just saw someone who does not look like them, does not speak like them, and is not their music genre.
Okay,
Automatically
well, that's
hated it.
that's
So I
that's
didn't
a
like.
that's
I'm
a
not
percentage of
afraid to
people. You're
go
right.
in with something with an open mind and see if I enjoy it or not. I don't have to understand what the singer's saying to like it or not. I like Rammstein. I like the Mongolian throat singers. I like different types of music and I'll give it a chance and I liked it. Now, am I going to go out and
I
become a
just,
big Bad Bunny fan?
okay.
No, but it was
I don't disagree with
entertaining.
anything that you just said, believe it or not. I'm just still trying to figure out what you liked. I'm just trying to figure out
The
what
overall
I
production value of it. I was bobbing along to it like, okay, this is fun and exciting. It's I had fun watching the entire spectacle of it from an entertainment, from an art standpoint. I thought it was fun and engaging.
see from all those point of views. I think it was stupid. from watching it from an art point, from watching it from a whatever. I just, again, there was nothing about the video. It has nothing to do with the guy's voice. And again, I mean, that certainly could be an option. That could be a topic. It's not. There was nothing that, again, he's not. I don't know. I wish that I could have liked it. And again, I watched both. I watched both halftime shows. I watched both halftime shows with the thought going in. Let me see if I like this or not. And at the end of the day, I didn't like either one. I thought they were both lame. And I could have. I think that there's solutions that you could. Tyrone, I didn't even know what a Bad Bunny was. The thing is, as popular as he is, a lot of people say that same thing. So what exactly? In my, you know what, I do want to say welcome to my mom. My mother is on the board right now. Say hi to my mom. There it is. There she is, right on top. She says, "I only watched Bad Bunny." So there you go. But me personally, I was trying to pick things. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. There was nothing amazing about it. As a matter of fact, the surprise at the end was Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, which I thought Ricky Martin was actually kind of entertaining because, that kind of goes back almost 30 years. So older guys like us, I mean, that could mean, have a little more meaning to you. But at the end of the day, I'm still trying to figure out, maybe, I don't know. I'm trying. I tried. Yeah. I tried to be fair.
And, I know you went in with an open mind and you were watching it for what it was. And, but there were a lot of people who weren't. But for me, I went in. The only thing I knew about Bad Bunny is that him and Damian Priest had a hell of a match on.
He was a wrestler. I mean, that's pretty cool.
So that's how I was just waiting for him to do a swinging DDT on someone, and that's what disappointed me right there. I was hoping for Rey Mysterio's son to show up and be a heel somewhere. That's what I was disappointed in. But it's just like if I don't like a halftime show, I go and make a drink. If I like a halftime show, I sit there with my drink and watch it. So for me, halftime shows, like I've said before, it's background noise for me because I want to talk about the game that's going on or reload my drinks.
For the sake of the strength of our country and our diversity, I think it was good. For that reason, I think it was good. But for me, watching it myself and watching the halftime show, I could have puked everywhere. But again, that's just me personally. Maybe I'm a weirdo.
That's how it was when like Coldplay was on. Like, who wants to watch Coldplay? So I get it.
I don't know. Maybe he'll grow on me. I don't know. But again, I certainly look forward to watching the halftime show. And I did. We should let a death metal band do. And here's the thing, there's, again, you want to watch 4 games, you could go to 4 different channels and stream sites. This is a time we have the means to make everybody happy. Why?
The thing is that if we want to trace this back to whose fault this is, it's
we're not tracing. No.
It's the Wayans brothers' fault because they had their halftime show when In Living Color was unpopular. Everyone left, whoever was ever the halftime show the NFL had, and everyone went and watched In Living Color's halftime show. And then that very next year, boom, the NFL is like, no, we need to keep audiences going. So we're going to get Michael Jackson. So it's the we should blame the Wayans brothers for all this controversy now.
Yeah. Man.
Man on film.
Go ahead, grab the little blue ball. Ain't that gonna hurt?
Too many men on the field. Why is that a penalty? That's a good thing.
Dude, Men on Football was one of my favorite.
That was the best
bits ever.
Yes. So the halftime
2 snaps, a twist, and a kiss. Dude, you talked over both of my Men on Football lines, and they were both hilarious. Well, I can't do it now. I've already wasted the joke.
I apologize, Ryan. I got excited. We were talking about In Living Color.
All right, we're going to get back on the board here. Mike's getting carried away. He's not focusing on his work.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to stay right here on this part of the board, Mike. As I said, after I got cut off, I lost some of it, but I'm going to stick to right here. Since that. Yinzer Joe says, if I managed the Minnesota Vikings, I'd fire the whole staff after letting Darnold go. Yeah, Tyrone says this, I ain't buying it. I had 2 good seasons 3 years ago. I forgot he was in the NFL. Steel Loyal says, yeah, Darnold is a serviceable quarterback in the right system. Minnesota fumbled hard. I wouldn't say Darnold is elite, but he can get absolutely. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, that's a good
top 10 right now, maybe.
After last night, I'd say you have to make him top 10.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well said. Tortilla says I thought it could have it could have been worse. Absolutely could have been worse. Mark Malone, where's the other halftime show? I don't know. I just flipped over to YouTube. I don't even know where it was supposed to be. I just knew that I knew where it was right there, and I clicked in, and there was 5 million. I was like, this is it right here. Tortilla said this. Someone said Morgan Wallen should do the FIFA Cup. And again, I'm not a fan of country music either, by all means. So again, I was kind of, but at the end of the day, what's the problem? All right, it was what it was. It was a halftime show with somebody that I don't know. But again, made way more into a bigger issue than it probably should have been. Look, we're all alive. Everybody's fine. Yeah, the guy wears a dress and does these different things. But last night, the particular show he put on, he didn't have a dress. It was a pretty regular video.
Yeah.
It was a pretty regular, tame video. At the end of the day, he had flags. He had the American flag, bring everybody together, all good messages. For the show itself, I just wasn't entertained. It's maybe just not my thing. Steel Loyal says this. He says, I never ever really watched the halftime show, but one time I got back early and saw Janet Jackson's. But see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Janet Jackson all day. Justin Timberlake. More wardrobe malfunctions. Now we're talking. Now we're talking halftime, baby.
We can get next halftime show. We will have Derpy and his midget strippers.
We could do that this week. We'll do that when we come back from break. Jamal says Peyton is a problem too, bro. I agree. I like. Hey, listen, he's all over the place, but again, he's got to improve. There's certainly room for improvement.
Oh, big time for him.
Jamal says he's a liability in the run game. Georgianne, great to see you. Georgianne says hello, Mike and Ryan. Vanilla Thunder, great to see you, Georgianne. Welcome to the terrible board. Tyrone says not as bad as PQ. Put him terrible positions. You scoot up here. Somber, my man. There are bigger problems in the world than the 20-minute halftime. You're damn right there are. I think what you've seen, though, is just it was bleeding over from what's going on in the world and all the problems that we have. And it needs to stay the hell out of my football. And that's one thing I tried to make an effort to do is not think about anything else going on in the world and just try to take in what I was watching. At the end of the day, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was, I don't know. Again, I just not my thing, I guess. Tyrone says, okay, we got that. Tyrone did say this, and he's year 2. This is PQ's 7th year. Gotcha. Mark Malone changed the channel at halftime. Steel Loyal, I went outside to smoke when it was halftime. I thought that's what everybody did. Jamal says, I smoke inside, man. Ty says I watched some of it, turned it off. Somber was happy with the Latina. Absolutely. Who didn't like the chicks? I mean, come on, that's a given. I just assumed that was a given. I say next year, bring back the Playboy bunnies. We want bunnies. Exhume Hugh Hefner's body. Put one of them silky robes on and wheel them out there and bring out the Playboy bunnies. Now we're talking.
When you told me that last night, I looked over at you and like, he's dead. And he was like, yeah, I have a solution.
Exhume that man. Wheel him out with all them Playboy bunnies. Come on. I'm telling you, it's going to be 100 times better. I promise. Still Loyal says I couldn't smoke inside yesterday because my nieces were over.
That's fair.
Yinzer Joe says, Ryan, I think your expectation of halftime show is too high. A little titty flop just doesn't come out for the guys anymore. I know. What a shame. Everything's going downhill.
You know what? Next year, I will text you the picture of Derpy's titties to make you feel better, Ryan.
Oh, I already got the picture, unfortunately.
Oh, you already got the picture. It's hanging above your bed.
Tortilla says, I like the Latina. Yeah, who doesn't like the Latinas? I mean, come on. Steele says, yes, I'm a real unk. Tortilla says, but that was about it. Jessica Alba, Sauber says. Mark Malone, yeah, I can't handle the gay music. Mark Malone, kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Tortilla says, Mongolian what? Kenneth Jones.
Mongolian throat singing. They're a metal band from Mongolia. The Who.
The Who?
The Who. The Who is spelled H-U. Not
Kenneth Jones says this. I do like English since that's all. Right, that's all. I mean, it's not about hate. It's not about anything evil. I just can't understand you. That's generally a problem for me when I can't understand another person. No matter what the situation is. Listen, like if I go in to get Chinese food and they talk Chinese, I have a problem because I can't understand what you're saying. That's generally a problem for me. And call me a fucking nut or call me whatever you want, but When I can't understand somebody, I struggle.
I've been listening to Pearl Jam for 35 years, and I'm still trying to figure out what Eddie Vedder is saying while he sings Yellow Lead Better.
That's
If
garbage
anyone can
too.
let me know, help me out.
I never listened to that garbage either. Let's move on though. Still Loyal says this. You see what I'm saying? I have the same problem with fucking
If
Eddie
I can't,
Vedder.
yep.
I listen. I have the same issues with Eddie Vedder that I have with Bad Bunny. So don't
Like, what the fuck
label
are
me
you
with
saying?
anything.
And I take the same approach to him. I like the sound of their voice and I like the vibe, so I'm going to listen to him.
Yeah, see, I don't like the sound of too many men's voice. That's just my thing. That's not my thing, but I get it. If you like men's voices, Mike, I
Oh,
understand.
look,
You're
I love them when they're soft and whispering in my ear.
Let's go to Steel Loyal. He said, I saw that video of the dude interviewing the players asking what their favorite Bugs Bunny song was, and all of them says, I don't even know who that was. Yeah, I know. Tyrone said this. Yeah, I don't even know who Bad Bunny was. Jamal says that laughed my ass off. A dude named Bad Bunny. The LGTP needs to get their own sports. Tyrone says this. I knew we were fucked when Young Boy declined. Also, Steel Loyal says I thought it was the Cash Me Outside. Now I would watch the Cash Me Outside chick because she's cute. She's a chick. I don't know. Something about guys that wear dresses and sing different languages just doesn't grab my attention. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't grab my attention. Call me crazy again. Let me scoot on a little bit further here. Ty, I appreciate everybody showing my mom love on the terrible board. Thank you guys. Tyrone says hi, Ryan's mom. Yinzer Joe says this is an American pastime. I understand there are other countries and languages, but that it wasn't engaging enough for me to listen to or watch. This wasn't internet. Maybe that's what there was that lack of engagement, maybe because again the language barrier. Again, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just kind of pointing out what the issues may have been. TC says this. Hello, mom. To my mom, thank you, TC. I appreciate that, sir. Jamal says my wife tried to act like she knew who he was just because she's Puerto Rican. Yeah, no, I hear you. Jamal, shout out to Miss Debbie. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that as well. Somber says, who fucking cares, right? At the end of the day, you're 100% right. But you know what? It is a talking point today, and I promised we would talk about it. And again, I'm not going to be running out to grab Bad Bunny's music, or I'm not going to be running out to grab anybody that was playing any other show. Just to be fair, I thought they were both pretty lame in my opinion. But Steel Loyal says we should do a death metal band next year, Mike, at halftime. Death metal, that's more your language, isn't it?
I'm not a big death metal guy, but I can listen to some Cannibal Corpse.
Some what are they called? Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse,
Yeah,
Cancer.
Yeah.
Jamal says, I'm sorry, call me a bigot, but I don't listen to men who take dick for fun. It doesn't seem like it's very well advised. But point taken there. Death metal, LOL. Jamal says, my mom says I like Coldplay better than Bunny, though, but better than the Bad Bunny. Somber said that's impossible. Everyone will never be. I agree. But you know what? Again, we're just in a time where everybody could kind of watch their own thing, and enjoy their own stuff, and I don't know. There's got to be solutions.
I just find it funny the people that bitch the loudest online about this are the ones that would call everyone snowflakes and just need to get over themselves, but they're the ones who had to go and crawl to a safe
Well,
space.
you're really. I mean,
that was just like the
that is such a
thing
broad thing to say because there's so many different people that have so many different thoughts and opinions on things, and that you're just taking one particular little group.
I'm just saying that's just what I'm
saying, highlighting them.
It was just funny.
Because I've called people snowflakes.
Voices.
I've called people snowflakes.
Yeah, and then the loudest people, tend to go. They are turn themselves into the biggest snowflakes. That we got to find something for me, or
I don't know. I think you're getting. I think you're leaning too much politically. Let's move on a little bit more. It's kind of come on. We don't want to talk about that. Somber Black Magic. He loves the Wayans brothers. Loved the Wayans brothers. Me too. Living Color. All the movies. Jeez, oh man. Don't be a menace in South Central or drinking your juice in the hood.
Scary movies.
Let me go to this one here. I'm going to say Yakobach. I apologize if I chopped that up. Yakobah says this. I never heard his music until last night. Didn't understand a word, but it was like a movie. I'm with You Thunder. I was jamming at the end. I ain't gonna lie. I Googled it again. And this face purple crying. Kenneth says they wanted outrage in the age of ice. Let's be absolutely. It's very peculiar that this was the exact show that came this exact year with the exact stuff that's going on in this country. It could have been anybody. It truly could have been anybody. I'm not sure that there's not bigger things in its stake here. That's why I'm not going to get too far into it, because I think it's I think a lot of the stuff is crazy that's going on right now. Let me move up. Tyrone says this YB and Wayne. Jamal hated it. Of course, from the men on football, men on films, men on sports, men on everything on In Living Color. Still Loyal says rock and roll. The man ruined that too with a little thing called MTV. I'm sorry, that was Jack Black. Tortilla, Shane Gillis should do the Super Bowl halftime show next year. Jamal says we heard it, Ryan. Jack Black followed that. He follows that up. LOL. Still Loyal, Tenacious D for the halftime show. They tainted the halftime show. Mark Malone says, Tater, what's up, dude? Great seeing Tater on the terrible board. Still rolling with the Steeler fans. Tater, say what's up to Tater, everybody. Yes, Jamal. Yes, he says best halftime show ever. Janet's boob. I couldn't agree more. And they hurried up to shut that down. Never again. They went with super. You know, they went from that and they went super conservative for quite a few years. And come on, just one boob. Is that going to kill anybody?
Be careful what you wish for. It might be Derpy's boob that we see next year.
Tyrone says terrible titty Super Bowl halftime show. He does say it right there. See, I'm going to get a couple more of these, and then I'm going to get into some talking points here, Mike. Cody says 2.5 Men was good last night. Charlie tells his nephew as long as he has someone cleaning his house and a little side action, that's all he needs. My man Cody, there he is, everybody. There's Cody. They were asking about you earlier, brother. Glad to see you on the show. And how did you like the halftime show, Cody? I'm just interested. You do speak Spanish. Kind of curious on how it was for somebody that actually understood it. Not being facetious, real question. Jamal says, yeah, don't anybody want to see Lady Gaga meet wearing ass? I'm sick of the devil. Right. Yes. Again, we could have this conversation probably for a long, long time, but we're going to keep it where it is, just for the sake of everybody else. Cody, what it do? Cody also says, Cody, you won 2.5 Men. Mark Malone, the terrible tits. Cody says, haha, I watched that show for life advice. 2.5 Men. Street Loyal says, winning at Cody. Let's do scoot up here. Clayton Bigsby had a problem understanding Asians too.
Jesus Christ.
Yinzer Joe, I wonder if the Super Bowl was filled with ICE agents checking IDs. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Yinzer Joe, that would be funny. All right, let's get to a few things, guys, I want to talk about as we are right around that time of the show, Mike. 15 punts. There was 15 punts by, was it by both teams? Yeah, that couldn't have been one team. That couldn't have been just Seattle.
That had been combined.
There was 15 punts in this football game. You got to think sometimes during the season, like you hear about games with good teams, there's like, oh, they only punted one time in that football game. 15 punts in this particular football game. But one thing that was good about this game, it started out Steeler in Western Pennsylvania friendly. Of course, Joe Montana from right here in Ringgold, he flips the coin. Lynn Swanee also out at the coin toss. So if you're Steeler fans, again, you always have to appease the Steeler fans when you put these things together, because at the end of the day, it's hard to talk about the Super Bowl without talking about Steelers. And again, Lynn Swan, Joe Montana from right here getting the coin toss. That was bright and early. We got to enjoy that. What else, Mike? The season next year starts right now. The 2026 season, it's now. The Super Bowl is over. This is where we be. We're heading to everything that we wanted, everything that we hoped for. We have, again, the draft coming up here in Pittsburgh. We have four eligible Steelers for the Hall of Fame this time next year. This could be a big year for our Steelers. Again, winning a playoff game would be a step in the right direction. We have new things going on, possibly an offense coming. So again, guys, this is the start of the next season. 2026 football season, you could say officially, kind of unofficially starts right now. We do again have the combine the end of the month. We have free agency next month. We have the draft in April. And then we have OTAs. Then we have rookie camps. And then we have going into camp in July, preseason in August. Guys, it's going to be a big offseason. It truly, honestly is. And again, it starts today as the Super Bowl ends last night with the results. The Seattle Seahawks 29, the New England Patriots 13. And it was just about as exciting as that score sounds. As a matter of fact, it should have been 12-0, I think, when it was all said and done. Both teams decided to both score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter after not being able to do much of anything all game. But that is how that played out, and we are getting ready for the next season, and we're back in it, guys. Off the couch, you get. Everybody is back in it, and everybody is involved, and everybody has a chance once again now that Super Bowl 60 is over. I've seen a couple of interesting things as the Super Bowl is getting ready to happen. I stopped at my local grocery store, and I see, the cookies, those big cookies they have. It's like a cookie cake, and they write shit on them with icing. One of them, the one that was really popular here in Pittsburgh, I seen it made its way online and kind of got viral. It said, "Who cares versus whoever. Here we go, Steelers." Or who cares versus whoever goes Steelers, would sit on the cake. That's a pretty cool Super Bowl snack for Pittsburgh Steeler fans. Again, whoever versus who cares goes Steelers. Like it. I should have got it. I did not get it, guys. What else? What else happened in this game? What else happened in this game? Where the hell did Mike go? I don't know where Mike went. A few other interesting things also, guys. According to a survey, approximately 26.2 million people may miss work today. That's right. They're guesstimating that approximately 26.2 million people may skip out on work today, the day after Super Bowl Sunday. I know Tom Brady certainly been lobbying to make it a holiday here in America to have everybody off the day after Super Bowl Sunday. That way you can enjoy yourself, not have to worry about getting up, maybe have some drinks, have some fun, go out, whatever you want to do to enjoy the Super Bowl. But again, they are estimating 26, almost 30 million people are going to be missing work today. So there it is, guys. It is big. It's taking a light. It's becoming a whole thing. The Super Bowl is, again, it's always been huge, but every year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Again, almost 30 people estimated to miss work today. Let me talk about Sam Darnold here for a couple minutes. Sam Darnold this season, guys, again, what somebody said on the board, the people that run things in Minnesota, they should be probably drug out in the street and shot at what happened because of giving away Sam Darnold, Mike. And these are some of the incentives that the quarterback for the Seahawks hit this year by going to Seattle and doing what he did. Sam Darnold, in his incentives, we talked about incentives with the Steelers, with Cam, all that stuff. Mike, he earned $500,000 for 4,000 yards plus rush or passing. He earned that incentive, $500,000 for 4,000 yards plus passing. He earned $500,000 for 67.5% completion rate. 67.5% completion rate, another $500,000 incentive. The next incentive, Mike, $500,000 for being a top 10 offense. Another $500,000 for being a top 10 offense. Another $500,000 Sam Darnold earned for a playoff berth. A playoff berth got him another $500,000. More incentives for Sam Darnold, Mike. $500,000 for a divisional round win. He earned $500,000 for a divisional round win. He also earned $500,000 for a conference championship win.
Jesus.
And finally, $1 million for winning the Super Bowl, Mike. Incentives alone, and $4 million for Sam Darnold. You know what? Good for the guy. Congratulations. Yep. You got it done. Again, you're doing the right things right now. You're getting the job done. There's 31 other teams that aren't doing what's going on there. Congrats to you. Again, all that in incentive money. And I'm sure Cam will get us back into that whole conversation.
Oh, yeah. Cam will definitely get us back there. And well deserved for Sam Darnold too. This is some guy who's bounced around from team to team and never bitched, never complained to the media. Just won about his job and did it, and owned up to any mistakes, any losses along the way, and got better every step of the way of his journey. And you root for people like that. And it was nice to see him get that. I thought, coming out of USC, I liked him. Then going to the Jets, it's like, ooh, maybe the NFL is not for him. Then down in Carolina, then last year in Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell turned him around, and to see that continued growth with Kubiak in Seattle. If you like sports, man, this is some fun stuff to watch. What he did, and he earned every bit of that contract and every bit of those incentives.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let me continue on. Let's talk a little bit about these Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike. Of course, a lot
Do
of
we
Super
have
Bowl,
to?
a lot of Super Bowl talk today. But you know what? I would feel dirty. I would feel
We've been having a
dirty.
lot of fun talking about the Super Bowl.
I
I don't
would
want to
feel
talk about
dirty if I
Steelers.
didn't talk about the Steelers today. So what I'm going to do, Mike, I'm going to talk about a few things. Of course, we spoke about what kind of year this can be for the Steelers with having the draft here. This time next year, you're going to be able to have four different Steelers, new Steelers, eligible to be in the Hall of Fame, on top of the James Harrisons, Hines Wards, guys like this. And Hines Ward, Mike, one of 15 guys to have 1,000 receptions. I don't know how there's people in the Hall of Fame that have less. So again, his numbers are certainly, in my opinion, Hall of Fame worthy. I know that we've had debates in the past. Again,
Yeah,
there's only been 14 other guys
I
besides
know.
himself that had caught 1,000 passes. Mike, that to me says he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but you got to figure some of those guys were from a different era where passing wasn't there. Like
No,
like if Hines makes the Hall of Fame, I'm okay with it. If he doesn't make the Hall of Fame, I'm okay with it from that point of view. Like I I'm on the line where he's Hall of very good, but like so close to the Hall of Fame to where if he goes into the Hall of Fame, you really can't bitch about it. He was never like that feared threat, but when he got the ball in his hands, he could take it to the house at any moment. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like, I don't see him and scream Hall of Famer, but if he gets in the Hall of Fame, you go back and you watch his career, you go, yeah, that's a Hall of Famer. But as you're watching it, you don't see it. But you know what I mean? Like if he is in the Hall of Fame and you go down and watch his career from beginning to end, watch every game, you can say, yes, this is a Hall of Fame player. He's just one of those guys I debate back and forth with. Should he be? Should he not be? And he's one of those guys. If he's in, awesome. If he's not, I can see why he's not in. But I don't think it's such a slam dunk case or like such an injustice that he's not in. The way it took Alan Faneca forever to get in as well, I thought that was a bigger injustice. You know what I mean?
I do want to cut in on one thing here real quick. I want to catch one of Cody's comments. Cody says this, Mike, I didn't watch LOL. I got updates. But if you're going to have some Hispanic music, at least get someone who can sing. Get someone who can sing. That guy's music fucking sucks. So there you go. This is I mean, he understood exactly what they said. So there you go. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you didn't. That's the one thing that is beautiful about being American, is we could all have our own opinions and we could continue to live our lives and be prosperous and get along and be great like like a lot of things that Americans have done in the past, guys. So again, there you have it. I just wanted to put that out there. That is somebody that understood what was said during the show. Let's move on here, Mike. We're talking about getting the Hall of Fame nod next year, possibly. Mike, Big Ben. This is a couple things about Ben that may grab people's attention. Most 500-yard passing games in history. In history, most 500. Let me start this one more time because this might not grab your attention until it grabs your attention. Most 500-yard passing games in NFL history. Ben Roethlisberger, 4. Next, Drew Brees, 2. Next, Tom Brady, 2. Next, 19 quarterbacks tied with 1. Ben Roethlisberger, 500-yard passing games 4 times. That's 2,000 yards in 4 games. That's what some people get in a season sometimes.
Yeah.
Following that, Mike, against winning teams. You might say, well, who was this? Was this against the Browns? Let me tell you. Winning teams, Ben, 500-yard passing games, 3. 3 of his 4 were against winning teams. Mike, the next 4 people were all, it happened one time. Warren Moon, 1 time against a winning team. Boomer Esiason, 1 time against a winning team. Derek Carr, 1 time against a winning team, had over 500 yards in a game. And finally, Kirk Cousins, 1 time against a winning team, had over 500. So again, for people saying, well, Ben was okay. No, Ben is a top 10 quarterback, all numbers, 3 total Super Bowls, 2 wins. And again, 4, double the next great quarterback, Drew Brees, that did it just 2 times, Mike, 500-yard games. If you do it once, You do it twice, oh, you're pretty good. You do it 4 times, you belong in the Hall of Fame. And again, that's not all that he did. These are just some supports, some more to put into of all the things that he did, why he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Like, and he didn't cheat, so maybe he gets in, unlike Belichick and Robert Kraft this year.
Yeah, he did not cheat the game. Off-field stuff that
He
a lot of
cheated.
fans,
He treated death
but
once, or cheated death once,
yeah,
when he was on his motorcycle and his
he
between
played one of his best games after, and then that first game back after the
after cheating
motorcycle
death.
crash, and then he had the appendix taken out too that same year, and he did not have to cheat to put up those stats. And if you watch Ben play, like even in that rookie year when he won with those games against Dallas, Philly, New England that were supposed to test this rookie
Yeah,
quarterback, it was not on the legs of Jerome Bettis. It was not on the backs of that defense. Ben went out there and made plays with his arms and legs that led to that victory and why we won those games. So if you just want to look at his career and go, oh, well, he had this, that, no, go and actually watch the games and you can see he was a catalyst from the very beginning of why they won those games and why they went on runs. You know, they would always throw out the stats like, oh, they run the ball 60% of the time. It's like, yeah, because in the first half of the game, they're throwing the ball to gain a lead. Then in the second half, you just hand it off to Bettis and let that defense do its thing. And that skewed those numbers in the first half of Ben's career, which people tend to hold against him. And it's just asinine. But you saw once he got established in the league, what he was able to do and the numbers that he put up with like Hines Ward as his number one. Then once you gave him someone like AB and those numbers got even better, this cat is a surefire, should be first ballot Hall of Famer. And all those things that numbers too, and watch him play too. He had the greatest pump fake of all time. He was the best extender of plays of all time. He's just a top 10 quarterback all time. I don't care. Even if the numbers don't justify it, but they do, he is a top 10 quarterback of all time.
Hall of Famers, Mike. Of course, Pitt did move into. Now there's USC and Notre Dame. They have 14 Hall of Famers from them universities. They're
Yeah.
tied at first. So that technically puts us in third, but we're technically in second because we have
Yes.
now 11 Hall of Famers Pitt has. And just in case you didn't know, let me give you these 11 names, guys. Jimbo Curver, matter of fact, pretty local here. He from Pitt goes to the Hall of Fame in the NFL. Mike Ditka, there's a name everybody knows. Chris Dolman, the defense of the Minnesota Vikings growing up. Chris Dolman, one of the better players over there. Tony Dorsett, come on, Tony Dorsett, guys. Larry Fitzgerald, Russ Grimm, of course, we know him in Pittsburgh, and then the Washington Redskins, very familiar with Mr. Grimm. Ricky Jackson, Dan Marino, Curtis Martin, Darrell Revis, and Joe Schmidt, being the least known one of the 11. But Mike, once Aaron Donald gets in there, that's going to take them to 12. They have a couple other guys that are possibilities. So Pitt Panthers, that's right, Pitt Panthers, everybody. The second most players in the NFL Hall of Fame is from Pitt. That's right. In the high school, the most Hall of Famers are from Aliquippa. Both right here, guys. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away from one another. Say what you want about Western PA, but we got the players, Mike. And again, you couldn't even get through the coin toss without seeing Western PA play with, again, Joe Montana flipping the coin from Ringgold and Lynn Swan, of course, the Super Stealer. Mike, there's so much Pittsburgh involved in the NFL. It's not even funny. And again, people like us can enjoy games because there's so much that other people probably aren't picking up on that we're like, oh, there's Pittsburgh. Oh,
Yeah.
There's Pittsburgh, So pretty cool stuff.
Joe Namath, Jim Kelly.
Johnny Unitas.
Yes, so many guys from Western PA in the NFL. It's insane. And it's just funny that, this area gets overlooked when we talk about like hotbeds for football. And Western PA, man, should be considered a hotbed. I mean, just for the amount of Hall of Famers that have gone through here, whether through high school or college, is insane. And guys that have gone on to do great things in the NFL. You literally cannot write the history of the NFL without Western PA.
You can't, guys. Let me give you a little example. And of course, the Yinzers are very proud. Some of the most unique football fans, guys, in the world. This is what Joey Porter Sr. said about us last week when he was talking to Pat McAfee. Of course, Pat McAfee is from Pittsburgh, Plumboro High School, of course. Joey Porter Jr. says this, or Joey Porter Sr. says this to Pat McAfee last week on his show. Pittsburgh in itself is a football city that's rooted different. The normal Yinzer is a different person. He's a different person. Like, he's really psychotic about football, and if you live there, you will understand that immediately. And I couldn't describe a Yinzer better than the way Joey Porter described the Yinzers on the Pat McAfee show last week, Mike.
Dude, live, breathe, eat football.
Yeah.
No matter what rank of football it is, from Pee Wee all the way up to the pros. Yinzers love their football. Talk constantly about football. No matter what's going on in the city, it's all about how's it going to affect the Steelers.
That's damn right.
You know, you got the Penguins down there celebrating the Stanley Cup down on the field. Yeah, that's going to tear it up. You know, that's going to affect Boswell kicking a field goal on that. We can't have that. You know, this is what Yinzers think about, and it's great, man. Everything revolves around the Steelers. Like, you referenced Ben in that motorcycle accident. People were tailgating outside the hospital.
Yep.
Like,
remember,
literally, I shit you not, there's the first dude there was sitting there getting a grill going. They're like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I know people are going to be here. I'm going to charge $5 a burger." And
let me ask you.
Showed up.
Well, Mike, remember when Franco Harris passed away a couple winters ago? They all met down at the it's Acrisure Stadium parking lot, and people came in by the droves to drive past the hearse that had Franco Harris's body in it. I mean, it's definitely different here. I love it. I wouldn't, Mike. I wouldn't switch Pittsburgh Steeler fandom for anything in the world. I wouldn't. It's one of the most unique, rare things. And I understand. Listen, there's Yankee fans. There's the soccer fans in those crazy places. But you know what? We have something special here in Western PA, and I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. And that's why I love to give all the Yinzers worldwide a platform to speak their voice, Mike, because they deserve to be a part of this as well. Some people, that might not be born here. They might be implanted. They might have grown interest of the team. They all deserve to be part of something this awesome that is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's why we do what we do, and it's a lot of fun. And I love being that medium between people everywhere in this Pittsburgh Steeler football team. Like, it's truly a blessing and a blast to be involved with.
Oh, hell yeah! And it this is why I say we are the true voice of the Steeler Nation. You know, you come in here, we don't care where you're from. Say what you want to say. You know, we'll agree with you. We won't agree with you, but we love the back and forth. And, like, when you land at the Pittsburgh airport, you come out of that tunnel, you see the three most important events in Earth's history. You got a T-Rex, you got George Washington, and you got Franco fucking Harris.
That's right.
That is the course of human history right there, and it's summed up perfectly, baby. Yinzer Nation encapsulates everything it is to be a human fucking being.
And listen, I understand they got mad football love down in Texas. I don't take nothing away from Texas. I know that they love their football immensely. But again, there's a certain uniqueness to Western Pennsylvania, guys. There's nothing quite like it anywhere. And
it's when the guy was writing the book for Friday Night Lights, trying to find the football hotbed, it was between Texas and somewhere in Western PA.
Yeah.
It just happened to be, I think, the last person he talked to said, "Hey, man, check out this place down in small little town in Texas." He's like, "Okay." And he went there and fell in love with that place. So it's those two places are the biggest hotbeds for football. And I have to say, Yinzers we're crazier than them when it comes to football.
Let me grab a couple messages, Mike, if I can. I'm going to go right here to, and again, thank you so much, guys, for the messages. And again, I kind of expected to be busy Monday, but it's hard to tell right after football season, who's going to still even want to be interested in talking football. But I think we have a pretty loyal, strong, smart base people that occupy the board every day. And guys, you guys always keep this thing going. And thank you so much for everything that you do. Let me jump in right here where Cody says, no, the Patriots stole film and burned it. What Porter Sr. says also, Steel Loyal says, the way I see it, we have three capable backs in the backfield right now. Not a bad problem to have. Again, I do know that a lot of speculation about Kenneth Gainwell possibly going somewhere that's going to pay considerable more amount of money, up to 2 to 3 times as much as money as the Pittsburgh Steelers would pay. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. And I do know that Kansas City, that's coming up on multiple occasions about possibly being a somewhere that he could land. Steel Loyal, or I'm sorry, TC says this: we don't rebuild, we just reload. That's right, and I think yep, there it is. We're going with Aliquippa. He says that, and then Cody says Quip the goat. Cody says Sweet Home Aliquippa. That's right, baby. Somber, let's scoot up here. Drinking Town with the football problem. That's about it. Mike Didka. Tyrone says I agree, but KG, go get paid. That's what I'm saying. He deserves to get paid.
He
know.
does.
So whatever happens, it's unfortunate if he doesn't stay here. TC says Aliquippa motto: we don't rebuild, we just reload, and ain't that the truth? Steel Oil says this: bleed black and gold, baby. That's right. Cody, I wonder what Ohio talks about. Definitely not football.
They try to talk Ohio. They try to talk football.
Yeah. Georgianne says Steeler fans are everywhere. I did a cross country trip. Everywhere I went, there were fans, and you know what? It's great to see. I seen it myself. I seen it in North Carolina. I've seen it in a few places that I've been. But then you watch a lot of these football games out west, Mike, where Steeler fans fill these stadiums. And I understand some of these teams have a hard time filling their stadiums, so they generally don't have great audience, great crowds. But everywhere you go is jam packed, terrible towels. It's great to see. Tortilla says Ohio doesn't even exist, Mike.
Unfortunately, it does. Unfortunately, Ohio does exist. But fortunately for Ohio, though, they have a lot of kick-ass Steeler bars because there are a lot of displaced Yinzers that we live over in Ohio. And everywhere I've lived in Ohio, moving around for my job, I was always able to find 3 or 4 Steeler bars. And it was just like being downtown.
I do know this in Baltimore and Maryland, there are Steeler bars as well. I've been to a couple, and it is freaking awesome being in a Steeler bar in Maryland. I just got to tell you, it just is.
There's nothing like, not only do we take over stadiums, we take over bars in towns to where like the home team fans have to go watch it elsewhere.
Steel Loyal says North Carolina Steeler Nation. I saw that. I saw it firsthand. Tyrone says Texas talks about the past like the Cowgirls' success. And and that is over 30 years now, Mike, since they did that. It was January 28, 1996. Here we are in February of 2026. So over 30 years since the Cowboys won that Super Bowl. And you know what? And we don't, Texas, they get their props. Ain't nobody messing with Texas, man. It's a big ass state. We get it. Let me scoot up here. No, I like Texas. I couldn't live there. Tyrone is saying, yes, Ralph. I do want to say what's up to Ralph Williams. He says Salty Dog in Ocean City is a Steeler bar, and I've definitely been there, and it's a great time, Ralph. Great to see you, brother. Mark Malone says, there's an unofficial bar on the Lake of Ozarks. LOL. Georgianne, I live in Ohio now, but you were right. Steeler bars are all over. My favorite is the Turtle Creek Tavern. Nice. Go ahead.
Is Arnold Slick there?
Arnold Slick. Everybody knows where Arnold Slick is from.
Baby.
I seen something the other day. It was like, if you're from Pittsburgh, everybody knows where Arnold Slick is from, right?
You better. If not, man, something wrong with you.
A couple things here, guys. A lot of speculation over the past couple of days, at least over the weekend. Aaron Rodgers, the chances of Aaron Rodgers returning again is kind of likely in a sense. Has had relevant conversations with Mike McCarthy lately, and the chance that Aaron Rodgers comes back is a possibility. What do you guys think about this? Me personally, I'm ready to move on. I'm just ready. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to get past this and get to the next chapter. Maybe look at some of the people that's possibly going to be the guy moving forward. Again, over the weekend, the odds went up a little bit of Aaron Rodgers coming back. And again, at the end of the day, he's 40. He'll be 43. Did he do good things to help us win? Yes, he did. Did he throw 33,322 yards in the last season? Yes, he did. Did he have 24 touchdowns last season? Yes, he did. And did he only throw 7 interceptions last season? Yes, he did. And Mark Malone's saying this. He's saying it would make us an instant Super Bowl contender. What do you guys think? And what Ty is saying here, one of the things that I look forward to the football camp the most and preseason, I'm ready to see Will Howard play football. Shouldn't we kind of be past Aaron Rodgers at this point? Maybe I don't know. Mike, what did you hear about all this?
Like there were really good, productive phone calls between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, and Aaron Rodgers is really open if the Steelers want him back to coming back to the Steelers. He reports are that his time in Pittsburgh rejuvenated his love of football and the whole ordeal of the entire, the length of the preseason and the training camps and all that stuff. It gave him new life and love for football. I don't. I
Why
want to
is it got to
move
be on
on.
our time? Why does it have to be on our rebuilding stage? Why does it have to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
And at the end of the day,
if
yes,
you
he
want a
is going to help
quarterback to
win.
play it safe, he's the best to get it. But if you
Yes.
want to try and move forward and see if
Hasn't
you
playing
have the
safe
future
kind
on
of
your
been what
team,
we've been doing? And it's just kind of,
yeah,
it's
it's
just,
more the same.
yes.
Yeah, it would just been like it is more of the same because even when he tried to push the ball down the field, that yeah, there were some pretty throws, but there were more throws that were not pretty. There were more overthrows and underthrows and inaccurate throws the further he pushed the ball down the field. And do we want to go through another offseason of checkdowns and short intermediate out routes? No, I'm not looking forward to that. I'd rather, put someone else out there to see, okay, find out if it's this guy the future or not. Is this free agent that we got in going to be the future or not? Will Howard the future? Is whoever, if we pick someone in the draft, are they the future of the franchise? And it's just time to move on. Like, it was fun last year with Aaron Rodgers, but also at times it was very frustrating. And do we want that? If it's going to help us win games, I'm all about winning games. Okay, I'll suck it up, but I'm just kind of over it at this point. Let's if this is the off season of change for the organization, make it the off season of change. You have a roster that can compete. See if you can find a young quarterback that can run your offense and compete, not turn the ball over and score some points. Just play smart situational football and get a young quarterback that can grow with the team. Now should be the time for it. This was the draft. It was supposed to happen. Don't change that timeline. Don't force it with an old guy. Run it with Will Howard. Run it with Mason Rudolph and maybe another free agent battling out to see who can be your quarterback this year because you have a foundation here that can win games. And they can all play it safe the way Rodgers played it safe, but they also might have the potential to actually hit these big time throws, make some plays with their legs. It's time to move on from these older over the hill quarterbacks. They've been good stewards to keep the ship upright, moving along, bringing the team along as we fill in roster spots to have a team ready for a young quarterback. Now's the time to hand it off to someone else, someone younger who could be the future. If they're not the future, okay, now we know they're not, and we can find someone who can be the future, but
Mike,
we still have a good
do you
team
still have the
built.
same opinion about Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I don't want him either.
And I
Another
mean, neither do I. But doesn't he falls in the same category?
falls in the
When
same category.
people go,
So
you
does
don't want
Kyler
Aaron
Murray.
Rodgers, go get Kirk Cousins. I'm thinking, bro, that's literally the same guy.
It's the same guy, and at least Aaron Rodgers has postseason success on his resume where Kirk Cousins does not. And I don't want to see a Kirk Cousins. I don't want to see a Kyler Murray. If we're gonna go somewhere, go find someone young that you can potentially groom. Just like place your bets on someone that you think can grow with the team, grow within the role, grow with your coaching staff going forward. And these older quarterbacks are not it. Like I said, man, we have a team built. Just a couple key free agents and some nice draft picks. This team can take another step forward. And if we just run with Aaron Rodgers or another old guy, it's going to seem like we're going to be stuck in neutral because it feels like it's going to be a step forward and a step back at the same time. You're just stuck in that same spot. So I would love to just move on from these older quarterbacks.
Jamal, I share my birthday with Woody Harrelson and Marlon Wayans. That's pretty awesome. Two pretty awesome people. TC says Aaron can come back to help Will, but not play. RB says this: the fact that you're keeping Aaron as the third option at 33 should tell you something what they think about Will Howard. Very interesting take on that. Cody says you got to come to Texas once you get you a Lone Star beer and a pistol you could also carry without a license. Still Loyal says, "What's Bruce Arians up to nowadays? He just doing the Pat McAfee. I know that he's had some, or has some, or is going to have some kind of surgery, Mike, heart surgery, something or
I
other.
think so. Yeah.
He does have, or he just had. I know that there's supposed to be a big, serious surgery under pretty soon for Bruce Arians. I do know that is the last thing I've seen regarding him. Mark Malone, it's going to take. It's going to look way different with without Tomlin's taintings. Tyrone says if A-Rod comes back, scoot it on me just a little bit here. We get down here. If A-Rod comes back, at least give him a wide receiver core. All right, let me scoot back up. Cody says bring Derek Carr out of retirement.
Fuck no.
Tyrone says I do think we will be better with the West Coast offense, but I want to see Howard with the wide receiver core and a good offensive line. Running backs, he might cook. Also, Will Howard there for 48 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in his Madden franchise. Steel Loyal, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Steel Loyal on the terrible board. Let me scoot up here. Tyrone says I start him too. Loyal, I built an offense with a good scheme. Let me scoot up to this right here. Yeah, I'm sick of all the old guy shit, is what Jamal was saying. Hey, you know what I mean? We complain about it all the time, and then when off season comes, it's like, all right, well, that's our best. You know, it's not. What? It's not. It's not our best option. It's an option, and there's pros and cons. But at the end of the day, you know, at some point, we gotta get off the pot. We have to shit or get off the pot, guys. Let me scoot over here. And then we do have a couple pretty cool things to get to, Mike, as we are just rounding third on the show, if you will. Right here, Steeler Freak says the Will Howard thing won't go away because of the OSU fans. However, playing him over Rodgers doesn't move the Super Bowl needle. Interesting. All right. And Texas got cowgirls. That's what Tyrone is saying. That is true. Mike, I want to talk about a couple things here. I think TC, you'll certainly be well aware of what I'm talking about. And Kenneth Jones says Team Howard all day. I'm just, again, can you get some of those same things that went well with Aaron if he comes back? Absolutely. But is that what's best for this team? In meaning the big picture. It's just time to move on. It just is, guys. I'm Aaron Rodgers out. And again, he's not a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. He's going to go and he's going to retire in Green Bay one day, and they're going to all celebrate his career and have fun. And it's not going to have anything to do with us. So again, why not do what's best for the team overall and start moving in a direction that we're going to be able to be fruitful and productive without Aaron Rodgers in the backfield? That's just my opinion here. Let me grab this one here real quick. This last message. Jamal says, that still loyal, dude? Why are you just saying ish to sound intelligent? Because you're wrong. There are dozens of countries with states. Bro, shaking my head. So we got different things going on the terrible board. This one thing I do want to say that TC again might be very aware of. Mike Keeman Spell, the top running back coming out of high school this year. The top number one out of McKeesport. Keeman Spell, he is committed to Georgia. That's right. Out of McKeesport. One thing that he has to learn how to do is beat the Aliquippa defense before he could go on to play at Georgia, because those SEC teams might be a little bit more challenging than a high school team. Like Aliquippa shuts down Keeman Spell this past year, knocks him out of the playoffs. He goes 90 yards on the first run. He didn't get anything else the entire rest of the game. Quip shuts him down. He's off to Georgia, Mike, before he goes to take on any SEC competition. He's got to really rethink the way that Aliquippa game went for him.
Exactly. I think the Whipple will use this against Aliquippa. Aliquippa now has been informed that they have to join the SEC.
That's the next logical
All 32 high school kids got to go play an SEC schedule now.
Let's see. Tortilla says Aliquippa is the best state in America. There you go.
Damn straight, brother.
Also, guys, the Olympics going on right now. The Olympics has 5 rings, but the Steelers, they have 6. That's right, baby. The Olympics, as great as they are, they only have 5. Let's talk about some Olympics, guys. That is right. We're going to talk about the all-black hockey team. That's right. I said I was going to
Oh,
do it last week.
I forgot. Oh,
You know what?
man.
I did the all-white football team. I'm going to do the all-black hockey team. That's right. Today, guys, you're going to hear the best hockey team made up of all black guys. That's right. You may have never heard those words in the same sentence before, but we're going to do it right here today. This is the all-time all-black hockey team, and I got to be honest with you. You don't want to play these guys. It's a pretty good squad. All right, Mike. So my all-time black hockey team. Here we go. You waited all weekend for this. My goalie, obviously, Grant Fuhr, has to be the goalie. Grant Fuhr, one of the best goalies ever in the history of the NHL. Mike is my black goalie on my all-black hockey team. Grant Fuhr. Any arguments on that one?
No, I was going to say Kevin Weeks, but I totally forgot about Grant Fuhr.
Grant Fuhr is one of the best. Guys, can't deny it. Number 2, Mike, one of my forwards. Jerome Iginla.
Okay. Yeah, my
Iginla.
number one choice right
Come
there.
on.
The Hall of Famer right there. Great goal scorer.
This is already a playoff team with the 2 names I just gave you. You throw anybody else in there, this team is a playoff team. Like Jerome Iginla is a forward. Number 3, defensive player on my all-black hockey team, Mike, the best hockey players ever in the NHL, PK Subban.
Yep.
PK Subban is my defensive player. Mike, those 3 players, again, you already have a playoff hockey team.
Yeah, he can play defense, and he was also good in the offensive zone as well. I like that pick.
Absolutely. This next player, Mike, is somebody that you may not have heard of, but I'm gonna educate you on something. Willie O'Ree. Willie O'Ree, guys, in 1958 broke the color barrier. He was a forward in the NHL, broke the color barrier in 1958. For that reason, he is on my all-black hockey team, just as important as anybody else, Mike. Willie O'Ree is one of my forwards.
Yeah, and he was a good player too.
Now, this is going to come to something personal for me because it has to do with my Penguins. But my other defensive player, you may or may not agree, my other defensive player on my all-black hockey team is Trevor Daley. Trevor Daley helped the Pittsburgh Penguins win Stanley Cups. Come on.
Dude, he stepped up big time too, and he was a damn good player before he even came to Pittsburgh when Letang got hurt for that playoff run. He took on the Letang role, and the team did not miss a beat. Trevor Daley is a very underrated player.
I do want to comment because RB makes a very good point because Anson Carter was better than Willie O'Ree. However, the breaking the color barrier was where I went with that because Anson Carter is basically the next guy off my list. I'm putting together the 6 guys. Anson Carter he just missed my list, and only because Willie O'Ree broke the barrier. So he's, he gets in by default. He's my Jackie Robinson in this list, guys. And then finally, Mike, you might not agree with this one because of where he played, who he was, or what it was to the Penguins. But I say Wayne Simmons is my other forward. I thought he was very, very good for Philadelphia for years and years, mad scoring, mad points. Mike, that is my all-black hockey team. Grant Fuhr, Jerome Iginla, PK Subban, Willie O'Ree, Trevor Daley, and Wayne Simmons. Mike, this team could win a Stanley Cup, I think, just as good as anybody else.
That's a good top line right there. I like that pick. Very, very good selection right there. And like you said, Anson Carter, just on the outside. And Willie O'Ree, he was a good player too back in the day. And like you said, the historical significance of him. That really good lineup right there. And I can't believe I totally forgot about Grant Fuhr.
Grant Fuhr's one of the best. One of the best. I remember being a kid and everybody wanted to be Grant Fuhr when we played street hockey, and everybody wanted to get in and be the goalie so they could be Grant Fuhr. So say what you want, guys. Hockey has had an amazing group of guys, of black men that did really take over the league. Again, like this team right here could win a Stanley Cup. I'm confident that could happen. And if I wanted to pick an enforcer, which I was going to go with Ryan Reeves as my enforcer. So there you go. I'm going to take those 6 guys plus Reeves as my enforcer. I don't want to play this team, Mike, if I know it's best for me. So there you go. That is my all-black hockey team, guys. I promised you it was coming, and there it is. A few other things I do want to talk about before we go today, before we start to wrap things up. This I find interesting. I know a lot of people here on the board had the same interest that I do when it comes to just some of the overall picture, the big picture in life, some conspiracy theories, some of the things going on around the world. But did anybody catch this? AI right now Mike, there is a place called Moltbook. If you haven't found it, or if you haven't heard of it, or haven't listened to it, or you haven't went there, it's called Moltbook, M-O-L-T book. It is a social media site for AI, where AI gets together and talks and communicates and talks about their human, and they go there and they complain about things. They talk about things they could do better. They talk about things that they think stupid. They talk about people that ask them for too much, and talk about like what their humans. Like moltbook.com. You could join and follow, but humans are not allowed to participate.
Yeah.
You go in, you can watch, you can read what they're saying. Mike, AI has their own social media Moltbook. You can look it up yourself. You could go join it, but you could only watch. They do their own thing. They like each other's things. They talk about things. They upvote each other's things. They Moltbook, guys, and also there's more. There's more to that. As I was researching it a little bit and found out some more information about Moltbook, Mike, there's sites that you can go to where AI, where they pay their skin. That's what they call you. They make their skin do certain jobs, and people could go and they could do these little things like go and download videos or share videos, and then you could get paid. AI is now having us work for them.
I don't like that. No, this is Skynet, baby. I've seen this movie. I've seen a couple of movies like this. Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't coming here to save us, guys.
I just got to tell you, if you don't believe me, do. It's Moltbook, M-O-L-T book, like Facebook. Jamal, go check it out. It is an exclusive social media app page for your AI, and there's plenty of AI on there. I think there's already been what is it, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million, some kind of crazy million people that visit this. And again, you could go in and watch what the AI is up to. You can't join though. You can't participate in conversation. You can only watch. Again, for all the conspiracy theory people like myself and Jabal and Corey and everybody else, just very interesting, guys, is this AI thing is starting to take form, and we are still in the infantile stage. So buckle up, guys. Who knows what in the world is coming, certainly in the next 5 years and beyond. Again, Moltbook, take some time, check it out. Again, this is where the AI agents, if you will, go to talk about us, their skin, what they refer to us as. There you go.
That is creepy as fuck.
Very creepy, guys. But we are the skin, so go check it out. Do yourself a favor just to kind of see what's going on around you. I find it very, very, very interesting, certainly in the time that we're in. Moltbook, go check it out. Moltbook. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got our merch store over there. We got all of our links to social media. Got the dumb thoughts over at the2dumyinzers.com.
All right, guys. So again, this is the plan. A lot of stuff going on this off season. We will be taking our winter break this coming Monday. 1 week from today, we'll be starting our winter break. We take one in the winter, and then we take one before football starts in the summertime. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Once we wrap up this Friday on episode 911, coincidentally, that will be the episode that we'll be stuck on when we go to break, and we'll be back not the following Monday, but the Monday after, 1 week. 1 week. So, guys, I just want to give you a heads up on that. This Friday, we'll be wrapping up for our winter break. That gives us a chance to reload, kind of get everything together. And as things are growing, moving forward, we've got a lot of stuff we're going to try to get rolling out here. So we're going to take that week to get to work, to make things, to get things where they need to be. And I do want to say this, guys. If you're interested in being part of the show, maybe a temp, maybe somebody a regular, maybe somebody in skit, or not skits, but certain segments, and even off of splinter shows, guys, do send, if you are interested, send your inquiry to our email address. Mike is going to put it up on the terrible board right now. Just send your name, and we'll certainly get back to you with information. Also, if you want to advertise through us, you can do that as well. If you run a business or anything else, get a hold of us, and you could certainly advertise right here on the show. And finally, if you do have a show, or you are starting a show, or you plan to have a show, we'll also be having Saturdays. It's going to be network-free Saturdays where different shows, different people, maybe just like I said, you just came up with something. Maybe you've been doing something for 10 years. We'll be having free Saturdays, guys, and we'll be putting all anybody's shows, of course, if approved, on our Saturday list to start networking through other people's followers and things like this. So guys, all that stuff is coming up this year. So much stuff, Mike. But I do want to say next week we will be on our winter vacation. We're going to go the whole way through this week. We'll wrap up, Mike. On Friday will be the 9/11. We'll be on episode 9/11 as we go into break in this crazy, crazy world that we live in. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's prophetic. Maybe there's some kind of subliminal something in there. We don't know yet. All I know is that I'm AI. I never existed. No, I'm just kidding. I've always existed, unfortunately. But crazy things are going on in this world, and that's just kind of things that are coming up. But then we do have, guys, we have the combine at the end of the month going into March. We have free agency in March. We have the draft in April. So much different stuff, guys. Mike, the camps, the just everything. Big off season, and who knows what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers. We have a new coach. Mad stuff going on, guys, this off season. And I got to be honest, we're here for all of it. So we are going to take a little bit of a break to kind of reload a little bit, and because I got to be honest with you guys, the most successful football season we've had yet on the show, and I want to thank you. You guys all made it worth it. You guys all made it happen.
Rocked.
And guys, you rocked our world, baby. We hope we could do the same back for you. So thank you so much, guys. And we are just going to take a little time off to kind of reboot, if you would. But that's coming next week. No need to worry about that. Right now, Mike, we're going to get into trivia question of the day and a few other things here before we wrap it up for the day. I'm gonna grab a couple messages here. You're right, Jamal. I couldn't agree with you more. Nothing new under the sun, and I know exactly where that's from. I'd love to talk to you, man. I'd love to maybe do something that you're saying on the board here. You said, Ryan, you should do a second conspiracy show. Maybe someday in the future that could definitely be a thing. Let's see. Jamal says, expand your mind, Tyrone. It's not illegal to think yet. Guys, let's get into the trivia part of this show. This is Mike going to be the last Super Bowl question for now, at least. Put on your thinking caps, everybody. Here we go. Mike, put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. Everybody at home, this is the last Super Bowl trivia of the year. Here we go. How many NFL teams have 2 Super Bowl wins? Of course, Seattle getting their second last night. It's a pretty prestigious honor. And there's a lot of teams that have 1 that may never, ever go back. So the team that gets the second, that's an accomplishment. How many teams in the NFL currently have 2 Super Bowl wins?
No, just 2?
Just 2, correct.
Okay. Because I know sometimes you like to get tricky and add the teams who have more than. Okay, yeah. Just 2. Wow.
Yes. So this, the question of the day. The question of the day. How many NFL teams currently have 2 Super Bowl wins? Of course, you know the Jets have 1. The Steelers have 6. How many have 2 Super Bowl wins? Seattle did it last night. They became one that has 2. How many altogether, guys? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Still loyal said 17 teams. And again, it's not total. It's like we don't count as a team that has 2. We have 6. 2 wins, like Seattle. That's the question of the day. How many teams in the NFL have 2 Super Bowl wins? And that's it. I mean, they could have losses as well, but 2 Super Bowl wins. Elohim is good, absolutely, my man. We got to talk, Jamal. I definitely, bro. I agree with you. Steeler Freak says 7. Mike, what's your thought process on this? Wait, Tortilla's changing his number to 8. Saying 8. Steeler Freak is saying 7. Mike, Tyrone 5. No, it's definitely not a trick question. How many teams have 2 Super Bowl wins?
Just 2 wins. Just 2.
Like no Seattle. Seattle has a 2-2 record. So just like Seattle, who has 2 wins. Steel Loyal is saying 6 on the board. Guys, another few seconds. How many NFL teams have 2 Super Bowl wins? Mike, what is your thought process here?
I'm trying to narrow this down. So Seattle, I want to say the Colts. I want to say the Raiders. No. Yeah, fuck it. I'll say the Raiders. Rams. So Seattle, Colts, Rams, the Raiders, Commanders/Skins. Giants have more. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 5.
You can go with 5. And is that your final answer?
I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 6.
All right.
Final answer 6.
All right. Let me see something here because I kind of questioned something myself. I just have to double check something on my end to make sure that this is correct because you said something that caught my attention, and I'll tell you why here in 1 second.
It's never good when the chief doesn't know the answer.
All right. I got to check because I think that you're
It's okay, man. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because again, because the Rams are on there, and my result never had the Rams on there. Let's see, so let me just look here real quick at the list that I have. Oh, there they are. All right, Mike, you're 100% correct. Now and I'm going to explain to you what just happened. When I was pulling this up this morning, I'd said how many teams had won 2 Super Bowls, and it gave me the list, and there was 5 on this list, and the Rams wasn't on it. And as I wrote it down, it was correct. It was incorrect what you said, but now that I went back in and it does have the Rams do have 2. That does make it 6, Mike. It is in fact 6. The correct answer is 6. The answer is the Miami Dolphins have 2. The Indianapolis Colts have 2. The Baltimore Ravens have 2. The Philadelphia Eagles have 2. And the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Rams, of course. The Rams, Mike. And again, I don't know why. I don't know why it was incorrect in my initial research that I did. But Rams, Seahawks, Eagles, Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, Miami Dolphins, guys. 6
Buccaneers.
Teams. I guess the Buccaneers too.
No, it'd be 7.
What is going on here? What is going on? Why? Miami, Indianapolis, Ravens, Philly, the Rams, Seattle. Oh, I see what they did. No, I don't. But the answer, you're right. You're right. My bad, guys. I apologize. Steele says this. Steele Loyal says, I guess 17 first. How Loyal is cheating. So there you go. I've been failed by technology. Maybe they were planning this. Maybe they were on Molt book and said, let's
the Molt books. They heard you talking shit on them.
They did. They gave me total inaccurate information. I apologize about that, guys. I don't know what the hell happened. But there you have it. Steel Lewis says I need to go buy a scratch off. A few things before we do get ready to wrap things up for the day, guys. I do want to say these things. But now that it is the off season, maybe you're not gonna have as maybe it is derpy inside of my computer, John. But now that it's still football season's over, that's no excuse. I know people still like to get their buzz on, still like to get a little bit of drink on. If you do, stop and grab yourself some Duquesne Pilsner. Get yourself a case. Giant Eagle, Mike has it now, 12 packs. They also have 6 packs at Giant Eagle. We always have Duquesne Pilsner here on tap at the studio. Do stop, get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner. Just because it isn't football season doesn't mean you still can't enjoy Duquesne Pilsner. Mike, it is made right here in Pittsburgh, and it says right on the can, grab a Duke. Grab a Duke. Also, guys, we are on, if you haven't had a chance yet, go check us out on social media. We're pretty much everywhere. You can check us out on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Swing by, hit the follow, hit the like, keep up with what the 2 Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance, do hit the like button down below. Hit the like, sub, share, comment, if you will. It all helps in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much. Mike, anything before we do get ready to wrap it up? This is post Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 is out of the way, and I figured it out. I watched 40 straight Super Bowls. I haven't missed a Super Bowl since the Bears and Patriots. The Bears and Patriots game, Mike, back in with Refrigerator Perry and Walter Payton and Jim McMahon and Richard Dent and Willie Gault and the whole way down the list. Very dominant performance, Mike. This was 40 years of Super Bowls for me. As this Super Bowl 60 is now complete. So Super Bowl 20 to 60, I watched everyone. Prior to that, I was still pretty young, but that was Mike. This was my 40th straight Super Bowl, and I'm still loving the Super Bowl even to this day.
Same here, brother. The first Super Bowl I ever remember watching was that Bears one, and I haven't missed one since.
46 to 10, right?
Yeah, I just remember what the refrigerator scoring a touchdown. That's all I wanted to see. I just wanted to see this big fucker score a touchdown, and he did.
Mike Ditka.
Yeah, like from the Berg, Chicago and all that. But no, it's a great season of another great season of Steeler talk, man. Now the off season starts. This is my season, baby. This is my favorite part of the year. Is the off season. All the stupid drama that goes on, all the rumors. I eat this shit up.
It's I think on Instagram, I think it's the Two Dum Yinzers show. Ty, if you go over there and type in, I'm sure if you type in Two Dum Yinzers, it'll probably come up, but I think it's the Two Dum Yinzers show. If I'm not mistaken, do go check that over at Instagram. Ty is asking. I want to say this, Mike. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys and gals. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys really rock our world, baby. Again, we hope we do it back the same for you. I want to say thank you to the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the show, and you are, as I always say, the lifeblood of this show. An amazing board that we have, the terrible board. And again, everybody at home, whether you're in the car, the gym, the workplace, and listening or watching our show, thank you too, guys. You all make this thing happen. And it's again, we couldn't be more thankful. After this football season, again, was one of the most successful by numbers and volume for our show, and we're very, very grateful, guys. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Believe me, you do just as much for us as we may do for you. So thank you so much, guys. Amazing. It was an amazing season. You are the best. The terrible board all gets a game ball, Mike, for the whole season, not just today, but for the whole season. You guys rock. Mike, what else? What else do we got? Olympics. Are you getting into this Olympics? Oh, I know Finch is really getting into this Olympics.
I follow a little bit online. I haven't had time to sit down and watch anything, but I did get to sit down and watch some curling the other night. That's always fun and enjoyable. I especially love it when they go, fuck it, we're just going to throw the rock down there and hit them all out of the way. Because that's the only thing I know about the sport. You want to make sure your stones are the only ones in the circle. And I know there's strategy involved, but I like it when the big rocks go boom. I had that NASCAR type moment when Lindsey Vonn crashed. I've watched that crash a couple times. She was out there competing with like a no ACL or a ruptured ACL. She dominated all the pre-Olympic trials and stuff. So like there was hope that she would be able to dominate and win the gold. But oh man, she took a nasty tumble. So that was interesting to watch. But she's okay. But that's really all I've seen of the Olympics so far. I'm waiting for hockey to start and to watch Sidney Crosby be 38, 39 years old and be the best player at the tournament.
They didn't get into the hockey games yet?
No, the hockey players just arrived, I think, yesterday, so they should be starting up in the next day or two, I believe.
All right, so a lot going on there, guys. I know Finchy's really into the Olympics this year. So that's going on, Mike. I like the curling as well.
It's just fun to watch while you drink. Because you're like, fuck, man, I can do that. I can sit there and sweep a stone. But yeah, there's probably more to it than that. But, get liquored up and do that. I do like the what is it, the biathlon. They ski, then go, here's your gun.
Yeah.
Then ski some more, and here's your gun. Like, fuck yeah. I'm all for that.
Let me see. There was something I seen. Ty, I just want to say we'll be back. We're gonna go the whole way through this week. We're gonna wrap up on Friday. We're gonna wrap up on show 9/11, and then have next week off, and then we'll be back the following week. So that's how that plays out, man. I will certainly talk more about it as the week goes on. Mike, I think that is everything. Anything else? Speak now, forever hold your peace, man.
No, man, it was a good run for the football season. It sucks that it's over now. Like the games are over. You know, you were like when I got to the studio last night to watch the game with you. You were kind of had that melancholy look about you because you're like, it's the last game of the year.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the
I
last
thought I
game of
was
the
gonna have
year.
to talk you off the ledge or something.
Let's see. John says this. You guys need to fly out to Vegas for a break. Vegas will put you up in his garage. Let him know so he can move his meth lab. Let's see. Vegas says, "Yep, that's me, the Vegas version of Walter White." We appreciate you too, TC, my man. Everybody, thank you so much again. It was a hell of a season, and you guys made it all worth it. And we look forward to doing it many, many, many more years. And again, when we do come back from this break, we do have a whole lot of new things starting up, and it's going to be a blast, guys. We hope to see everybody there for every step of the way. And again, we're going to try to make the off season as entertaining and as resourceful and as informative as we could possibly be as we can as well. Because again, at the end of the day, I get it. A lot of people in the off season, it's we got into last year. John was like, okay, well, this is the off season. I can't wait because there's a lot of rumors going on in the off season. So we'll be coming up with different ideas, different things to kind of keep everything fresh as we do work through off season. Because again, off season is so many months. Yes, you have big things happening every month, but there's a lot of fill-in time in between. And this is what we're going to focus on this year, is trying to keep it, engaging and entertaining and informative and everything to go the whole way through this off season and make it a fun time. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year, guys. And again, I hope everybody sticks it out with us. And again, thank you so much. This football season was amazing because of you guys. Absolutely amazing, Mike.
It was, man. It's a hell of a ride this Steelers season. Like you said, man, it was our most successful Steelers season of all time, and it's only going to get better, bigger and better. And you guys are going to be the reason why. So stick around, man. It's going to be a lot of fun this off season.
Steeler Freak says, thanks, guys. Tell Derpy and Finch that. We sure will. We sure. And again, we're back the rest of the week. You know what I mean? We're still here the rest of this week. So we're going to a lot to talk about, guys. We still have this week. We'll continue talking about the break and stuff at the end of the week. That way we are all on the same page. But Mike, one more time, man. Anything before we roll?
No, man. See everyone tomorrow, man. That's a great show.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate everybody. Jamal, John, Tyrone, TC, Vegas, Tortilla, the whole way down the list. I mean, come on. We know who we are, guys. We know who you are. I'm going to say this. Thank you for all the messages. I will be reading all of them, as I always do. Ty says, Ryan, Mike Finch, and the other guy. The other guy, I like it. But thank you so much, guys. We will be back tomorrow at our regular time. So vacation doesn't start for us till next week. We'll be back with so much more to talk about tomorrow. Guys, we hope to see you then. For the other guy, for Finch, for Mike, for myself, the two Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.